to We Want Picks. Jacob and I are going to break down the entire UFC Charlotte fight card, giving you our picks, our predictions, and our bets. Also, our fantasy plays. People often forget that we're giving out fantasy information, that we have a whole website dedicated to fantasy. But you know who didn't forget?
You know who did not forget?
Jack Spade didn't forget. Because Jack Spade is a premium member of We Want Picks. Jack Spade used the website. Jack Spade used the premium information, the insight, the ownership, all of that. And Jack Spade won himself $78,750 real dollars. This isn't play money. This is actual
American money.
This is real money. Jack Spade did that with
Andrew Jacksons is that? What's Andrew Jackson on? The 50?
5? I don't fucking know. Anyway, Jack Spade did the right thing. Jack Spade became a premium member for $10 a month. Couple months in, hits the big one in DraftKings, $78,750. And if you think I'm just exploiting him, he's the one who reached out to us saying, look what I did. And we're probably going to get an interview and stuff going with him because he's very happy about that. And he did tip us. What's even more astonishing about that is Jack Spade, this is the largest
live. Sorry.
Yeah, it's live. This is the largest single payout from any one of our members. But Joey Todoro won himself $60,000 like 6 months ago. Also a premium member utilizing our content. We talk about bets.
Joey is probably yeah, that was a little bit of a slip there. This probably pisses off Joey, honestly.
Yeah, it's a little more.
He's gonna be hard at it now.
New shining star. But anyway, congratulations to Jack. And in all honesty, like, good for you. That's what everybody's trying to do, is get these massive payouts hit big. A lot of people are here just, let me spend the $10. I'll get some bets and the safety parlay hits and blah, blah, blah. Their fantasy content is absolute fire, and Jack Spade is testament to that. WeWantPicks.com. It's freaking $10 a month. Even if you don't want the insight, the tools alone can help you.
How many weeks did he just pay for?
Divide 78,000 by 10.
That was a question for you.
By 52 and then by 10. Anyway, Jack Spade did well this weekend, but so did we. Jacob had solid picks. Jacob's lock of the week. Huge controversial lock of the week. Nobody wanted to hear it. That absolutely crushed.
How do you think I got these gold chains?
I'm up units. The ones hanging.
How do you think I got those, baby?
The safety parlay hit. And guys, if you do nothing else in premium, the safety parlay alone, it is hitting over 70% now. We do one for every single event, every single week. It is hitting at over a 70% rate, and it is up 7.6 units just in this year. We're not even halfway into the year. All of this is on premium, but premium is more than just copy-paste bets. It's all about insight, information, giving you tools to empower yourself as well, because we're all about that. When you see my bets, my picks, that's what I'm doing with my actual money. Jacob's page, that's what he did with his money. But we have tools and information for you to help you spend your money well. Also, like the line movement tracker, this card has a few fights going from underdog to favorite. Court McGee doing a Parker Porter style swing, from plus 140 to minus 185. Keep an eye on that line movement tracker. You're going to get the opening odds, the current odds, the win probability, and that line movement. And this is fully interactive and sortable, so you can very quickly identify spots, hop on a train, hop off, see where somebody is trending in that direction, and then go make solid bets. And speaking of information and data, we give you a full suite of metrics and analytics that you can use to find those spots. It is 38 columns of detailed data, analytics, and metrics. We also take this data, chop it up into digestible, interactive charts. All of that is available at WeWantPicks.com, all under that $10 umbrella. Jacob, did you know there are people selling a very similar spreadsheet for $10?
Did you know that there are people that are just absolutely jacking the underdog lock of the week and failing at it miserably?
I saw something about that on Twitter.
It happens.
We also accept credit cards.
I don't blame them. It's a great idea. I don't blame them.
It is a good. Hey, a lot of people have copied what we do, and that's it's a compliment. We know we're doing it well. I don't know what the hell you're eating right now. You're at work, but fine.
What do you mean? Send you $50. You know exactly what I'm eating.
Jacob came to my house for UFC 288. My daughters were eating cotton candy grapes, which are just regular grapes.
I said, "Give me that shit," and I ripped them out of their hands. I said, "Give me that shit."
They're just
taking
sweeter.
grapes from a baby.
And somehow Jacob had his first one ever. Then today he said there'd be pictures from Target eating cotton candy grapes.
Anyway, grapes are sweet enough, but because when you start eating a lot of these, it gets a little bit too much. But the flavor profile is definitely
you
different.
don't expect it from a
intriguing.
grape. Yeah, you don't expect it from a grape. Anyway, guys, we'll send you $50. I just paid out somebody 5 minutes before we came live. All you need to do is go to WeWantPicks.com/bets. Sign up with any one of our betting partners using our link. Make an account. We send you $50 as a thank you. WeWantPicks.com/bets. Sign up. Make a deposit. We send you $50. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. You got to use the link. It's affiliate marketing. They're going to pay us. I'm going to break off some of that money and give it right back to you because we care very deeply about this community. I think this is a good fight card. A lot of other people trashing it, but let's go head up. Let's go ahead and hit up some of these super chats, and then we'll go dig in.
People are already commenting about your tan. You're pretty proud of that tan.
I'm very tan. Thank you so much. I'm brown. I'm Italian. I'm very brown.
That's just a natural. You're out in the sun, walking around, doing some yard work.
Well, I know you're trying to shame me. I don't give a shit. First of all, I do walk a lot, so I get a little tan from that. But I went tanning. See if I give a fuck. See, it's a little whiter here.
Jesus Christ.
Okay. Anyway, $2 from Quint Lazaby says,
"Happy birthday, Quint."
Happy birthday. Jake Spade won himself some salary. Jake Spade absolutely dominated. Thank you very much for the $2 super chat. Quint, $5 from Sam Pierce, looking dummy thick as usual. Thank you guys for the stream today. If you're not a premium member, you are the reason Darwinism exists. Sam, thank you very much. I also suspect some of the people who are not premium members may not know what Darwinism is.
Are you an evolution guy? Let's talk.
If they were smart enough to know Darwinism, they would be smart enough to be premium members.
Let's talk about it. What do you believe?
We're not doing that. $5 super chat from Santiago Mendez. Thanks for the Yeon and Frivola pick. You're welcome.
You had Yeon, Angela?
I did in my quick picks, and then I flipped it for the two. So I was on both sides of that. Can't lose like that. Joey T, disgruntled. Everyone smash the like, become a member if you haven't yet. Everyone heard I won before, but now Jack proves anyone can do it. As Joe mentioned, he won
Joey
60
T can
something.
do it, anyone can do it. You know what I mean? Joey T can do it, anybody can do it. So it was already proven when you hit that jackpot, Joey T.
So we have 2 community members. We've been doing this for less than 1 full year. Less than 1 full year has premium members existed. And 2 people have already won a $78,000 plus $60,000.
That's got to be $500,283.47 if my math is correct.
It's not that. Let's go ahead and jump in. Opening up the UFC Charlotte card, we have Jessica Rose Clark coming back after a gruesome, it actually wasn't very gruesome, but after an arm break to take on Tainara Lisboa. Tainara Lisboa is the only UFC debut on this card. Jessica Rose Clark, 11-8 overall, 2-3 in her last 5, and she's coming off back-to-back submission losses. She's taken on Tainara Lisboa, 5-2 overall, 4-1 in her last 5, and as I mentioned, this is her UFC debut. And this is an interesting fight because Jessica Rose Clark is a slick striker. She is coming off these back-to-back submission losses, but she actually has some takedowns in her back pocket, right? She's had several takedowns in a lot of her fights. She's averaging almost 2 per fight. So she is able to mix in offensive takedowns. She just doesn't seem to do well with the raw grappling. But she's a slick striker with fast, powerful, straight shots. And that actually could be a problem for Tainara Lisboa because Tainara Lisboa is a Muay Thai striker. She's got a Muay Thai background, and she likes to load up on her feet. She throws wild knees in the clinch. She works really, really well, and she's going to come forward, throw aggressive, and look for that finish. My only knock on Tainara is when she's throwing those shots, everything is looped. Even her jab is not straight up the middle. She's looping it a little bit. And somebody like Jessica Rose Clark, who is technical, could literally beat her to the punch. She could send it right up the middle and catch her before the loops come in. All of that being said, I do think Tainara's going to win this fight. I've got a small little $20 bet. 0.2 units, 100 units, $100. $20 bet on her at plus 122. That line is moving. I believe she's even money now. Actually, minus 110. We see it right there. Because I do think that Tainara is going to come forward. She's going to be aggressive. She is obviously very dangerous. Jessica Rose Clark is a solid striker. She's finally going to be in a striking match, but I don't know what that arm is like. I don't know what her psyche is like fighting, basically for her UFC career, coming off that arm break. And this is striker versus striker. I'm going to go with the underdog here. She's the more accomplished striker. I think she's probably the more dangerous striker. But only a $20 bet because this is not a guarantee. What do you think, Jakey? What are you laughing at?
That last comment is like the most random comment I've ever seen in my life. I'm not even going to repeat, but it's the most random comment.
Guy has a hot wife. Good for him.
Something like that. Yeah. I think the big elephant in the room besides Angelo is Lisboa's competition in MMA. I mean, when you look at the people that she has fought, they basically have no wins. And you're going to see that a lot on regional scenes, right? It's tough when people are making their UFC debut, coming off regional scenes, because most of the fighters you're going to fight are not very good. People are going to say the same thing with Pete Rodriguez. Oh, he's fought nobody and stuff. It's like, you can't really help. You can't really help who you fight. And when she fights these people, she beats the shit out of them. So it's like she's doing what she's supposed to do on the regional scenes. Angelo nailed pretty much the entire breakdown. Jessica Rose Clark, a very, very good kickboxer who kind of found wrestling and then started to just kind of default in the wrestling, which really got her in trouble because she's not really a jiu-jitsu practitioner. So she was trying to get these takedowns, these clinch positions. She was trying to clinch, Stephanie Egger. What was it? I think it was Stephanie Egger, right? 2 fights ago?
One of them.
Stephanie Egger. Yeah, she was trying to clinch Stephanie Egger, a high-level judo person. I don't know why that was the game plan. She got tossed down armbar. Then she came in against Julia and tried to clinch her after she didn't try to clinch her. She hurt her, got too aggressive in the striking, got taken down, and then got armbarred again. So, like you said, this should be the better matchup for Jessica. She should be able to strike if she wants to strike, but if she wants to wrestle, this actually might be the time to wrestle. I know Lisboa can be taken down. She is, I think, a purple belt in
She has slick jiu-jitsu after getting taken down for sure.
Right. So she knows what she's doing in there. But, I felt great about this matchup going into when I was like, Muay Thai world champion versus Jessica Rose Clark, who's pretty good everywhere. And as you mentioned, a good striker. But that Muay Thai championships were 2012, 2013, 2014, somewhere around there. That was a long time ago.
30 Muay Thai champ. Like, there's not one Muay Thai champ, you know what I mean? Like,
right. People are going to be like, she fought Shevchenko to a decision. That was literally 13 years ago. And when I'm looking at her Instagram, when I'm thinking of a Muay Thai champion and somebody that's coming in, a dominant striker, and she's got all the training videos, she's obviously working hard. I mean, every single post is like, boom, boom, training. And I'm watching her hit mitts, and I know everyone can look good hitting mitts, and I've heard that time and time again. But when I'm watching her, I'm not seeing the speed and the snappiness that I would expect when I'm watching Jessica Rose Clark hit mitts. I mean, it's fast, it's down the pipe. As Angel mentioned, Lisboa, it's like, oh man, like what are we doing here? Like she should be the better striker in this matchup. So she is going to be my pick because it's hard to trust Jessica Rose Clark with anything except for my heart. But I got to go with Lisboa in this matchup. I think that she should be the better striker in a mostly striking matchup, and that's why I put a bet on her as well. And she's gonna be my pick, but. Jessica, I'm rooting for you.
I think I agree with you. That's why I did just $20, 0.2 units at decent plus money.
I pumped it up.
You moved the line, is what you're saying?
No, I did more than fucking 0.2.
Oh, well, you're just a baller. I have a family to support.
That's why I got those gold chains, and you got that. What is that back there?
2 children.
On the floor back there, yeah.
That's it. That's stuff we're moving. Those are expensive lamps from Pottery Barn. Okay,
I bet they are.
Yeah. Anyway, also Tainara beat the absolute shit out of Norma Dumont before getting caught in that submission, but she was putting it on Norma Dumont, and that actually to me was a big. Watching that fight. Okay, watching that fight, I was like, man, and going on knowing this, Norma Dumont would beat the shit out of Jessica Rose Clark, and I hate MMA math. It doesn't work like that, but. So we're both on the same side. Neither one of us super confident. DraftKings 8,400 to 7,800. It's a little tricky because I'd like the underdog here. There's a 7 in front of that number, which is solid, but I don't know how well she'll score because I don't think she's going to submit, obviously, Jessica Rose Clark. And I think she'll outstrike her, but I don't think she'll put her away. What do you think of the DraftKings?
I'd stay weird. There's too many question marks. UFC debut, level of competition. Jessica
Broken
Rose
arm.
Clark, I mean, just too many... whatever. But I will say right now, I think Jessica Rose Clark is hands down, like, just absolutely goddamn beautiful.
Yeah, she knows it too. So, good job.
So, if you're listening, if you happen to be watching,
well, this video is gonna get chopped up and tweeted at her.
Yeah,
like the rest of them.
Pay no attention. This could be you. This could be you.
Anyway, WeWantPicks.com. Become a premium member. It's only $10 a month. You're going to unlock everything, all the picks, the bets, the DraftKings insight, the DraftKings information that helped our community make over $100,000 this weekend. Next up, at UFC Charlotte, this is actually a very good matchup, and this is one of those fights where the line moved. Bryan Battle, open as a favorite, is going to close as the underdog, and he's taking on Gabe Green. Bryan Battle, 8-2 overall, 4-1 in his last 5. He's coming off that absolute wrestling domination loss to Rinat Fakhretdinov. And he's taking on Gabe. I know, I'm nailing these names. Remember when we started, how I was saying names? Well, Gabe Green, 11-4 overall, 3-2 in his last 5. And he's coming off this decision loss to Garry. This should be a really fun fight, and it's going to be an interesting fight. And I understand that people don't know what to do with this line. Like, I get why it's moving, and it actually widened and then tightened, and it full-on flipped after it opened. But Gabe Green, he's a pretty well-rounded guy. He's got solid grappling, solid striking, good pressure. He's very comfortable striking. He'll work in kicks really well. He's just like a tough guy that's going to come forward and try to make things happen. He'll grind on you, push you down. Not amazing at any one thing. And Bryan Battle is, frankly, pretty similar. Right? He's going to come forward. He's going to work in some striking. He does have a little bit of power. He's going to try to get some takedowns. He's slick on the ground. He's not amazing at any one thing, but what he does have is like that intangible work ethic. To watch this body's transform, this dude's body transform from every single fight, his skills improve between every single fight. To watch him in that fight with Fakhretdinov, he got manhandled. 2 judges said he gave up 2 10-8 rounds, which is a bad. Like, that's a bad decision. But at no point in that fight did this dude give up on himself. Did he stop working up? Did he stop moving? His back was never flat on the mat. The dude just did not stop. He just kept coming and coming. And he just refused to accept being taken down, even when he was taken down as many times as he was. Gabe Green's going to come forward. Gabe Green's going to shoot takedowns. He's not going to have that same success that Rinat did. I think he's going to get frustrated with Bryan Battle constantly coming back up. Bryan Battle's going to push his own pace, his own pressure. I think Bryan Battle's a phenomenal underdog. I think he gets it done. And it's another $20 bet on an underdog. I threw $20 at plus 110 on Bryan Battle. Jacob, you disagree?
I don't disagree completely, because Bryan Battle, as you mentioned, is a tough dude, and he probably is. You know, the odds are correct in my mind. I think this should be kind of a pick'em fight. But when I watch Bryan Battle fight, you know, I see him in fights kind of get pushed around a little bit. Yeah, he is tough and he can get out tough. But even that Tresean Gore fight, he's just constantly his back against the fence. The last fight, his back against the fence. And Gabe Green, that's how he fights people. He wants to get in your face. He wants to push you back. You saw that in the Garry fight. You see that in fight. I mean, he's pushing you. He's a tough dude. He can eat shots to give shots, and then he will mix in some takedowns as well. I agree. I don't think he's going to have great success with the takedowns, but the threat of the takedown is going to keep Bryan Battle backing up. Now, Bryan Battle comes in, and he dictates the pace, and he dictates the pressure. He can win this fight. He absolutely can win this fight, because that's when he's going to be able to land his big shots, as you saw with this big head kick knockout. If he can get that space, he's a long dude with big power, and if he lands, it's going to start hurting people. The issue is, I think that his back is going to be against the fence pretty much the entire fight, and he's not going to be able to land that big shot on Gabe Green. Even if he does, kind of off the back foot, kind of off the back cage shot, Gabe Green can eat those shots. You saw Garry landing some really, really solid shots. He just kind of walks through them. I mean, that guy just doesn't give a shit. And he's not just following you around. He's throwing stuff out. He's just constantly working and throwing stuff out. And both these guys are tough. I think that this is a decision fight, and anytime it's a decision fight, especially we got, North Carolina judges now. We have no idea what they're going to be doing, you know. So, you know, I think it's going to be a decision fight. Anything can happen. I just feel like Gabe Green is going to have the pressure and the volume to be able to sneak out that decision. But I don't disagree that Bryan Battle's not a terrible pick. I mean, there's definitely a world where he comes in and wins this fight. I just think that Gabe Green is going to have the pressure, going to have the volume, maybe mix in a takedown or two, steal some rounds, win a decision.
Listen, I hear where you're coming from, and I'm really going with the intangibles here. I think the $20 came for the intangible. It's just Bryan Battle's grit, determination. His improvement between fights is wild. Is
that a little bit motivating for you to see his body transformation?
And very similar tans. And to see him lose the way he just lost, getting taken down over and over and grinded on. He's not the type of guy that's just going to chalk it up to, oh, I was sick before that fight. He's going to go back and be like, I need to be better at this. Nobody is going to do that to me ever again.
Yeah, I love Bryan Battle.
And so I think that loss, the way that went down, just being, he didn't get like, he got manhandled by grappling. Like, you know what I mean? That's basically it. So I think he can go back, or did go back, focus specifically on that. And that's Gabe's path. Let me grapple.
I think it's a mistake if Gabe comes in with that path, because I don't think he's going to have the success that he thinks he's going to have, and I think that he could end up losing the fight if he's just all in on the grappling. I think he just needs to fight his own fight, and he can win. If he comes in and just, Renat did it, so let me do it, I think he really fucked this up.
Yeah, I mean, so I like Bryan Battle to win. You like Gabe Green. I'm not, again,
100?
$20. No, I put $20 on it because if I was, we'll find one. Okay. Didn't I just win the last one?
Get your face
Didn't I just
in there.
win? Didn't I just
Oh,
win
yeah,
the
because
last
Gilbert Burns blew his shoulder out. And Bilal's still just circling around, throwing his little
Didn't
jab.
Bilal have a blown-out ankle?
What an absolute.
Didn't
no,
Bilal have a blown-out ankle?
No, he said his ankle was fine.
No, he said it was actually hurt.
He said he
and
hurt it that week,
week.
but during the fight,
okay.
it was fine. It was
Yeah,
fine.
'cause
He
he's
didn't
a
have
man.
blown
'Cause
out
he's a man.
shoulder. He got
He's a
taken
man.
down, and that's when Gilbert blew out his shoulder, by the way. He got destroyed. I mean, double leg on his ass.
Okay, but who won the fight?
Embarrassing. Bilal
Anyway,
sucks.
You going to put Gabe Green in your lineup?
No.
Okay, $100.
$100. Okay, you said it. I accept. Let's do it.
We-
Come on.
WeWantPicks.com. Become a premium member. Unlock everything, including our DraftKings ownership projections, which are quite literally the best in the game, period. End of story. It's only $10 a month. Just click Become a Member at the top, and you will instantly unlock everything that you could ever want to help you make money watching fights. Next up, at UFC Charlotte, we have Ji-Yoon Kim taking on Mandy Bohm. Ji-Yoon Kim is 9-6 overall. She is 1-4 in her last 5, riding that 4-fight losing streak. She's taking on Mandy Bohm, 7-2 overall, 3-2 in her last 5, and she is looking for her first UFC win. And we have a woman on a 4-fight losing streak who only has 9 wins in 17 fights, and she opened that almost a 3-1 favorite. And that is just absurd to me. Because Mandy Bohm is not like a bum. Like, Mandy Bohm is decent. She has lost her first 2 UFC fights, one of which she was dominated with the striking. The next one, she was taken down twice, gave up a bunch of control time. So we have seen her lose multiple ways. Despite that current streak, though, she is pretty good everywhere. If you go back to the regional scene and watch that tape, she's not great anywhere, but her striking is solid. Her grappling is pretty solid. She'll work in takedowns on the regional scene, make things happen. We just haven't seen that yet in the UFC. She's taking on Ji-Yoon Kim. Ji-Yoon Kim likes to fight at range. She likes to pick people apart. I'm dogging her for that 4-fight losing streak, but a couple of bad decisions in the mix. She's got solid output at 6 significant strikes per minute. Her takedown defense, though, is not very good. She's actually given up takedowns in 5 of her 6 UFC losses. And she does have solid submission defense, but she doesn't scramble well and just ends up being held down the entire time. I'm going to pick Kim here because in order for Mandy to win, she's going to need to wrestle. I have seen her wrestle on the regional scene. I know she has those takedowns, but I've yet to see her do it in the UFC, so I can't just assume that all of a sudden she's going to pull that out. So Ji-Yoon Kim's going to be the pick, but if Mandy Bohm comes in here and wrestles, as we've seen her do outside the UFC, I think she can get Kim down and hold her down and win this fight that way. But anybody betting money on this fight, I mentioned the Quick Picks video, deserves to lose their money. You're financially irresponsible.
Get your hands cut off.
You're financially irresponsible. It's absurd. Like this, it should be a trap. The sports book, it should be a trap from the government. Who bet on that fight? Okay.
What's the best
hold
knife
their money
to cut a
for
hand
them.
off, you think?
I don't know. If I remembered from The Office what he said the best knife was for a goose's neck, I would say that answer.
Like a serrated edge? Probably. The bone's
No,
gonna
that's
be
not
tough.
how you chop.
Obviously, if you're gonna
chop.
chop it, that's easy. I mean, you can use pretty much anything on that. But if you're gonna actually cut, I mean, I'm trying to think.
It has to be a chop. It has to be a chop.
I don't know.
What do you think of this
You can't
fight,
get through
Jacob?
bone? I think
Yes,
could
you
get
can
the
chop through bone.
No, I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm just.
What do you think of this fight, Jacob?
Yeah, I think everything that you said good about Mandy is incorrect, but everything you said bad about her is 100% accurate. Listen, she's a confident fighter. I mean, she comes in there and she believes that she is going to win every single fight, and you can see that when she is in striking exchanges. She's a confident fighter, but her striking, her grappling, everything she does is just so sloppy, and there's just no speed to it. There's no power to it. Everything's a little bit loopy. Everything seems a little bit lackadaisical, and sometimes those girls clean things up. I mean, sometimes those girls realize, okay, this is my UFC opportunity. This is probably her last chance. If she loses this, she's probably gone. And we've seen girls come in and really kind of clean things up. And maybe, as you said, maybe she does come in and wrestle. And if she comes in and shoots some takedowns and wrestles, maybe she can win this fight. But this is probably going to be a striking fight. And Kim's the better striker. I mean, yes, she is on that 4-fight losing streak and stuff, but she is the more technical fighter. And that's really all it's going to take for this fight to get the job done. It's just boom, boom, just beat her to the punch. I mean, Mandy Bohm, in her last fight, she got taken down, but she was losing striking exchanges to Victoria Leonardo. If you're losing striking exchanges to Victoria Leonardo, that's not a good situation. Victoria came in there, wanted it more, beat her to the punch, bullied her in that fight, and I think Kim can kind of do the same thing. They're both fighting for the UFC lives, so this could turn into a sloppy war, because Kim will bite down and throw sloppy. Mandy will come in, throw some sloppy shots as well, so you nailed it. Don't bet either side on this. Just stay away. This is going to be an early morning card. If you guys want to go, make lunch, maybe go to McDonald's, come back. The fight will be over. It'll be 15 minutes, but stay away from it. My pick is going to be Kim.
Yeah, we're on the same side here. You're a little more extreme than I am. You mentioned Mandy losing to Victoria Leonardo. We both agree Victoria Leonardo's not good.
Well, I wouldn't, Victoria hate. I don't try to. I try to not to disrespect fighters.
Yeah, and in fact, you did make Victoria Leonardo your lock of the week at one point. How'd that go?
I believe she dominated. I don't think I've ever lost a lock of the week.
I don't think that's how that went.
I'm trying to remember. I'm 4 in a row.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember that last loss, and I think it was 2019, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it wasn't great for you. So yeah, credibility's a little out the window on this one. But we're on the same side here. Obviously, the safest bet is...
Wait. The fact that I picked Victoria Leonardo as my lock of the week gives me no credibility for this fight somehow? What kind of math is that?
Yeah, because Victoria's trash, and you thought she was amazing. So now, the things you say here are just not good.
Okay. Well.
Anyway, I think the safest bet on this is obviously the over on rounds, and frankly, parlay that with
minus
something
340.
Else. Parlay. Jesus. I'm not a huge fan of parlaying overs when it's 2.5 because you're just like begging for a decision.
Overs. I absolutely hate. There's nothing I talk about in a live stream is
because you're rooting for a boring fight.
You're rooting for not a finish. It's like why would I want to place a bet and be like don't finish? It's like what the fuck? I want to root for action, baby. That's why we go crazy.
It's like when Ed Herman got finished right before the 2.5 mark. Anyway.
You got to finish with your 2.5 sometimes too, a little bit early.
You gonna spend the $8,900 on your hero Kim?
No.
Okay, and as you shouldn't. She should be your DraftKings fade of the week. And speaking of DraftKings fade of the week, when you go to WeWantPicks.com, you become a premium member. You literally get all of our DraftKings insight, our fades, our dogs, our favorite plays, cash core, GPP core, all the information you can need to build a lineup, including an actual tool that will build the lineups for you.
She's cute too.
Kim? Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's got some weird.
I like that little.
She's got some weird pictures, but yes, I agree.
I like that mischievous look there.
Like a little I'm up to something. We do have a $2 super chat from Blackie400. Another great weekend because of you guys. We want picks for the win. Thank you very much. Screen name Blackie400. That is the screen name. I'm not making assumptions about this person.
Damn.
I'm not using that in any sort of derogatory way. Thank you very much for the super chat. Do you have anything to say, Jacob? Last time we broke down this fight, you made an absolute ass out of yourself.
Well, I'm feeling hella magical, fool.
Yeah, as you should.
Feeling hella magical.
He looks like he has a lisp. Fool. Anyway.
You want to say that to his fucking face? I'll get him on the phone right now.
Oh, no, not 155-pound Pete Rodriguez. The fuck out of here.
Hey,
Next up, at UFC Charlotte, we have Natan Levy taking on Pete Rodriguez. We broke this fight down already. Jacob yelled and screamed, acted an absolute fool.
And what did you do? And what did you do?
What? I stood behind my man. Let's listen to Jacob's breakdown and watch him back up.
Did you really? Because you changed the entire safety parlay because you lost all faith in Natan.
No,
Levy.
I made a second.
Oh, was that the first time you've ever done that?
I did it this past weekend too, you idiot. And all of it hit.
This dude lost all faith. All I said was like 30 seconds of information.
Okay.
Angel's like, oh shit, we better get a new safety parlay.
We got Natan Levy, 8-1 overall, 4-2 in his last 5. He's riding a 2-fight win streak. He's taking on Pete Rodriguez, 5-1 overall, 4-1 in his last 5, coming off his first UFC win. We broke this down 2 weeks ago. Pete Rodriguez, Jacob loved him, thought he was going to dominate. Pete Rodriguez was at Disney, feeling hella magical.
Foo.
And then pulls out of the fight on Wednesday because Grammy died. We did our video. Well, then he pulled out on a Tuesday. He pulled out after we recorded the video.
It might have been a Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yeah. So
he missed his Grammy.
It was because his Grammy died. His Grammy died.
I don't know if she died, but it was her birthday. This is the post. It says, "Happy birthday, Nana. Keep fighting, and I promise to keep fighting for you. Hurts me not to be there.
But he didn't fight for
watching her. Watching you blow out your candle. Stay beautiful, Grandma. I love you so much. Dios la bendiga."
But he didn't fight for her. He pulled out of a fight.
Well, you're about to see fucking the wrath and fury of a grandson this week.
The fury of a grandson missing his grandmother.
You know, you can keep disrespecting this
at
kid,
11 a.m.
You know, these fighters, Angela, put their lives on the line every single week, and I would never disrespect anything that they do. So if you want to act like the clown that you are, I'm not surprised by that. But I'm going to try to keep it professional for the fighters. I apologize, Pete. I apologize.
I do appreciate you keeping it professional because Natan Levy will be all business as well. Natan Levy, nonstop grappler. He's averaging an impressive over 5 takedowns per fight. He's got slick takedowns, slick BJJ, continues to come forward regardless of how tired he is. His striking is just okay. It's definitely not enough to get him through a fight. He's not going to win a striking decision, but his takedowns are solid enough. His cardio is solid enough. His pressure is solid enough to get these wins. He does give up rounds, though, right? He's coming forward, winning these fights, but he'll lose a round. He's winning 29-28. He's taking on Pete Rodriguez. Pete Rodriguez is a straight-up brawler. He comes in, Jacob's going to tell you he's a technical striker. He's a brawler. He's going to bomb away. He's got very real power in his hands, but we saw what happened when he fought a technical striker. His face got absolutely lit up by the jab. He is coming off a nice win over Mike Jackson, but Mike Jackson, not good. But Pete Rodriguez put him out, did what he was supposed to do. All power, but if you watch that slide, very clear he was sloppy, and people with clean technique can get it done. But this isn't going to be a striking match, so none of that matters. Obviously, Pete Rodriguez has insane power, and anytime you have a fight with somebody who has that kind of power, anything can happen. We haven't seen Natan Levy be super chinny, right? His only loss, he was grinded on by Rafa Garcia, who out-grappled him. Pete's never going to do that. Natan Levy's going to come forward, get the takedowns, outwork Pete, frustrate Pete, and just show that there's sort of, I don't want to say levels, as if, Natan Levy's got 30 fights, whatever, but Natan Levy's going to get this done. I'm very confident in him. I was very confident last time. I'm even more confident this time since Pete pulled out of the fight for we have no idea why, and now 2 weeks later, he's 100% ready to go. Natan Levy absolutely smokes this fool. Jacob last week was screaming, hanging from the rafters. This week, he's like, he's going to win, probably. Listed him as low confidence. Last week, screaming. This week, low confidence pick. Absolute muppet. Let's hear about your boy, Jake. Clown.
I did not interrupt you once. Can I get your word
I appreciate
and promise
that.
you,
I won't. Unless you say something about me.
Here's the deal, and I'm going to break this down as an actual breakdown because I've spent a lot of time watching these two fight. I've watched a lot of these fights because Pete Rodriguez a few weeks ago was my lock of the week, and there's reason for that. Angel mentioned the grappling of Natan Levy. If Natan Levy comes in, shoots takedowns, he's going to win the fight. I mean, if he comes in, shoots takedowns, get takedowns, he's going to win the fight. I have no argument there. He is going to be the better grappler. Pete started off as a jiu-jitsu guy, but he doesn't have the wrestling, and he can get out grappled, so I have no argument there. But Natan Levy has shown that he does not really grapple until later on in the fights. He will grapple when he starts getting tired. He will grapple when he starts losing striking exchange. And he does have success when he goes to it because he can do that later in fights. But early in the fights, he will stand and he will strike. Now, as a striker, he is mostly kicks, right? As a boxer, he's not a very good boxer, but his kicks are lethal. I mean, he will light people up with those kicks. The issue is, as a southpaw, he is lighting up conventional fighters with his kicks. He is throwing that left kick to the inside leg. He is going to the body. Then he works the head. He's just throwing it, boom, body, head, body, head. Pete Rodriguez can fight as a southpaw. So now 85% of everything that Natan Levy wants to do with his kicks, and that's mostly his striking, is now gone fighting a southpaw. As a boxer, he gets hit. He does not like the pressure of a pressure boxer, and that's exactly what Pete Rodriguez is. The same combinations that you saw Gennaro land on Natan Levy, and he was landing shots. I mean, Natan Levy gets hit in the boxing. Pete Rodriguez can throw those exact same combinations and throw them even more technical than Gennaro was. Yes, he was getting lit up by Jack Della Maddalena. Jack Della Maddalena has one of the best jabs in the UFC. So yes, he was lighting Pete Rodriguez up with those jabs. Natan Levy doesn't possess the boxing of Jack Della Maddalena. Natan Levy, his path to victory is to wrestle, but you listen to the interviews before the last fight. Natan Levy said, listen, this guy's going to come forward. He's going to pressure me. I have to get the respect. And this is the quote. It's not the exact quote, but this is a quote. There's going to be a point where I need to bite down and gain some respect, or he's just going to keep pressuring me. So Natan Levy is not even thinking about wrestling or this. He's talking about, I'm striking with this guy. I'm going to get my respect, and I'm going to outstrike him. And I think that's going to be a big, big mistake. Pete Rodriguez is the better striker. If he can get inside, in the pocket, he's going to bring that 170 power to 155 and knock this dude out. Now, as you mentioned, if he's shooting takedowns, that's what he should do, but I'm still all in on Pete Rodriguez this week. If this turns into a boxing match, he's going to knock this dude out.
Yeah, I just don't see it. Obviously, anybody with power can use power in a fight. I just absolutely do not see it. I just don't see it. And I appreciate it. That was a technical breakdown. I don't think any of that shit matters. I think you're way overcomplicated this. You're
acting like Natan Levy comes in and just shoots takedowns and shoot. He didn't shoot a takedown until the end of the second round versus Gennaro. He was in there striking, getting hit, still striking, throwing his kicks.
Okay, and he felt no danger. Yeah, he felt no danger
because he was blasting the body, blasting the head against a conventional fighter. He's having success with that. But even in boxing exchanges, he was getting lit up, and he runs away when people are getting in his face and striking. He just runs away.
Then you should bet that this dude is plus 211. You should be betting everything you have on him. Half the chat, yeah, a little tiny prop bet. Half the chat agrees with you too. All of you, this line barely moved, and it looks identical to 2 weeks ago. Everybody in here talking about this is a guarantee. I've never been so confident in a 5-1 fighter. You're going to get plus 211. You need to be betting all of your money on this. If you've never been more confident in a 5-1 fighter, these are phenomenal odds.
Okay, let me say this. Angelo, if you're so confident, why aren't you betting everything you have on Natan Levy? You think it's going to be an easy fight? He's just going to take him down. He's going to control him. You said it's going to be the easiest. It's cut and dry. There's no path to victory for Pete Rodriguez.
Have you not checked behind the paywall? Behind the paywall?
No, you said bet everything on it. What do you put? You put him in the third leg of a parlay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it goes both ways, stupid fuck.
At minus 250.
It goes both ways. You're telling us to bet everything on the 2-1 dog. You've got the favorite that you think is the lock of the century. Yes. Bet it all. Bet it all, Angelo.
And I put my whole reputation is the safety parlay.
Oh, your reputation.
And I'm putting it all on the line.
Not the wallet, the reputation. I got it.
The whole thing is a safety parlay.
No problem. No, I get it.
And he's in it.
I get it.
He's in it.
No, I get it.
No.
Talk both sides of your mouths.
Low-level confidence pick from Jacob, but he's going to talk like this. High confidence pick from Angelo. Put him in.
So you have a straight-up money line on Natan Levy, right?
He's plus money.
Oh, wait, no. Yes or no? Yes or no?
I have him in the safety parlay. Which, if you know how that works, is multiple units.
Oh, shit.
So I'm going to see Pete Rodriguez in your DraftKings lineup?
Yeah, hell yeah, he's going to be in there.
Let's bet $100 on this fight, Jacob. Love to take your money again.
With the odds?
Oh, but you're going to want odds? Oh, he wants odds.
Yeah, that's how that works.
Okay.
You've got you've got almost 3-1 favorite, and you want even money. How confident that Mr. Confident Angel? I want even money on my 3-1 favorite that I think is going to dominate this fight. That I'm not putting any other bets on.
Why would I?
This is honestly embarrassing for you. Honestly,
I'm honestly going to kick you out of here. You're annoying the fuck out of me, Mr.
Go ahead.
So positive. He was going to be your lock of the week. Why is he not your lock of the week this week, Jacob?
Who knows if he is? Stay tuned.
He better be. He better be. One in your mouth like this. He's so confident. Your lock of the week. He's going to be my lock of the week. When the fight drops, all of a sudden, oh, that was my lock of the week. Now the fight is back, and anybody who's a premium member can check the Discord and see that Pete Rodriguez was a low confidence pick. Doesn't sound like a lock of the week to me. Fucking Muppet. Next up, at UFC Charlotte, we have Carlos Ulberg taking on Ihor Potieria. We're going to agree on this fight. You fucking asshole. Carlos Ulberg, 7-1.
Really fired up. We have a two spot from Quint. If you want to put that on the screen for me, for Papa. Happy birthday, Quint. Natan Levy is ass. They see it.
Next up, at UFC Charlotte, we have Carlos Ulberg taking on Ihor Potieria. Carlos Ulberg, 7-1 overall, 4-1 in his last 5. He's coming off that knockout win over Nick Negumereanu. He's taking on Ihor Potieria. Ihor Potieria, 19-3 overall, 4-1 in his last 5. He's coming off that win over Shogun Hua, where he retired him, and then, if you remember, celebrated like he just won something that wasn't a fight against the 45-year-old man. We do have a battle of the strikers here. We have a technical, very, very technical striker in Carlos Ulberg, world-class kickboxer, transitioned to MMA. Big guy, incredible footwork, really nice range management. His striking differential is solid at 8-3. He has both a 100% takedown defense and takedown accuracy for the couple times he worked in those takedowns. Defense a little misleading. Only one person even tried one, but it was Kennedy Nzechukwu, who, oddly enough, is his only loss, and that loss to Kennedy Nzechukwu looked very similar to Kennedy's win last week. He was beating the absolute brakes off of Kennedy, and then Kennedy was able to turn the tables there and get it done. But Carlos Ulberg, very technical kickboxer. He's taking on Ihor Potieria. Ihor Potieria is not a technical kickboxer. He is a kickboxer. He will come forward. He's got power. He's just gonna come forward, throw wild, trust his chin, and if his chin holds up, he likely wins by finish. And if his chin does not hold up, he's gonna get finished. That is his entire style. Stays loose. Good power. His accuracy is actually solid too, but he is dumb hittable because his hands are low and he just comes charging forward. Striker versus striker, I have to go with the more technical striker here. We have seen Ulberg knocked out, but we've seen the same for Ihor. So I'm going Carlos Ulberg here, one of the more confident picks. You've seen the line just completely take off from -285 to -430. And it's obviously a dangerous fight because Ihor doesn't care. He does not care what comes his way. He's just going to come forward and throw. And we've seen Ulberg get put out. But I trust Ulberg's ability to move around, avoid the craziness, do his own thing, and get it done. So Carlos Ulberg, very confident pick here. And probably not a surprise to anybody, including you, Jakey.
He's definitely going to be the pick because, as Angel mentioned, I mean, this should be a mostly striking matchup, and he is the more technical kickboxer of the two. But I will say, and I know Ihor pretty well because he was I picked Nicolau in that fight as a lock of the week against Ihor just because I knew that he could out-grapple him, and that's exactly what ended up happening in that fight, and he just kind of worked him down. I will say this. Ulberg's going to be my pick, and I don't want to make it seem like this is going to be a close fight, but I do want to warn some people that a lot of people are watching Ihor, and I've seen tweets, and I've seen our Discord. You can join our Discord for free. It's in the description. Anyone can join it. People are acting like this dude is just absolutely sucks, and you see the odds. And you see the odds kind of taken off as well, that people think that this dude is a bum. He isn't technical. He is sloppy. He does get hit. Everything Angelo said was 100% true. But he's got a little bit of a dog in him. I mean, he has a little bit of that dog in him. And sometimes when you have these super technical strikers that are used to fighting technical strikers and technical kickboxers, and you have that guy that's got a little bit of a dog in him, throws a little bit wild, and is a little bit unorthodox in the way that these shots come, those people land on technical strikers because they're just not used to it. When you're sparring these technical guys over and over, you used to shot, you can roll because you know that this is coming from here and this is coming from here. If you're rolling the wrong way against Ihor and he's throwing those non-technical looping shots, we've seen Carlos get hit. I mean, he can get hit and he can get hurt. And this could be a situation where Ihor comes in and just kind of dogs Carlos Ulberg with those unorthodox type striking abilities. But it should be a technical striking match. Carlos is the better striker. He should just kind of dance around, wait for those shots, find the nice counter shots. You see, he takes his time in there, right? He's not getting too over aggressive. He kind of learned his lesson with that Kennedy fight. So I imagine he's just going to be dancing around. Eventually, he's going to hurt Ihor enough to where Ihor is going to slow down, wear down, and then Carlos can kind of jump all over him. So I don't want to get it twisted. Carlos is the pick. I'm not doing like a minus 450 bet on him. If he was still minus 250, minus 275, I would feel a little bit better about it. But don't be surprised if Ihor shows a little bit of life early. But Carlos should be able to get it done.
Yeah, I think we're on the same page, and I agree with the unorthodox fighters. It is funny though, because how many times didn't we talk about this last week? Or was it the announcer? I thought maybe you talked about it at UFC 280 when people say somebody's an unorthodox striker. It's just a nice way of saying they suck.
Oh, that was Aljo, because Aljo's like my unorthodox striking.
Oh, yeah.
His striking sucks. I mean, it's
yeah. No, and it's honestly, Ihor Potieria striking doesn't suck, but he does just come forward bombing, just trying to make something happen. And his chin doesn't always hold up, which is why I think Carlos wins
there could be some karma coming, too, because he knocked out Shogun in Brazil and like taunted his ass too. It's like, what do you come on, man. It's like, holy shit, man.
45 years old in his retirement fight
it's like,
in his hometown.
On, man. Holy shit.
A guy who paved the way for, I completely agree. So we're both on the same side. I do think that $9,300 in DraftKings will be money well spent. He likely wins by finish. What do you think? You don't think so?
Yeah.
If Carlos wins, it's going to be by finish.
Ihor's a tough dude, and Carlos isn't like a volume type guy, so there is a world where Ihor just kind of just walking forward, and Carlos doesn't want to take too many chances, and it's like a decision fight. I mean, what are the does not go the distance for this? I imagine it's pretty. This could be one of those weird fights where it's like it goes to a decision that nobody expected to go to a decision.
Yeah, like a few weeks ago with
minus 350 for does not go the distance. I mean, there is a world where Carlos just kind of takes his time and kind of izzies them to a victory.
Like Tafa versus Muhammad Usman. Everybody thought that not going the distance.
Yeah.
No matter what side you were on, you definitely didn't think it was going to go to a decision. So, anyway, WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. It's only $10 a month. You're going to unlock not only the picks, the bets, but also tools, information, insight, all sorts of exclusive content and other stuff there. It's only $10 a month. Next up, at UFC Charlotte, we have Cody Stamann taking on Douglas De Andrade. Cody Stamann, 21-5 overall, 2-3 in his last 5, riding a nice 2-fight win streak. Douglas Silva De Andrade, 28-5, 3-2 in his last 5. He's coming off that close loss to Said Nurmagomedov. We broke down Cody Stamann a bunch of times, and he's a well-rounded guy. He's been competing and wrestling his entire life. He's been boxing since he was just a little kid. He's a good technical striker. He sets a really nice pace. Doesn't really have that one-punch raw knockout power, but he's going to work. He's got really solid work ethic. He's averaging almost 3 takedowns per fight and has a 69% takedown defense, which is pretty solid there. But he does like to be the one dictating the pace. If you come at him and you wrestle him and you push him, then he backs up and he'll have some trouble there. But he's taking on Douglas Silva De Andrade, who is older. He's been around for a very long time. And if you go through his record, he's fought in multiple weight classes. He's fought a whole bunch of former champions, current champions, a lot of experience under his belt. He's a compact guy. He's got solid boxing, solid power, solid BJJ. Doesn't really have much offensive wrestling at all, but he is a strong, tough guy to fight. I do think Cody's going to win this fight. I think because the wrestling is going to be the differentiator here because he can work in those takedowns. But Douglas Silva De Andrade he's a tough night for a lot of people. And if Cody isn't prepared to go a full 15 minutes of constantly grinding, shooting shots, going to the head, shooting shots, going to the head, then he's gonna have a tougher night than he thinks. But the pick is gonna be Cody Stamann, but I think over 2.5 is probably a solid bet here because both these guys are really, really tough. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, I agree. I think this is going to be a decision fight, and it's going to come down to, in my mind, who the better boxer is. And I think it's pretty cut and dry that Cody Stamann is just the better, cleaner boxer. And he's going to need that in this fight because Douglas does possess that power. I think that Douglas is kind of, I don't want to say slowing down, but those last two fights, he came back against Sergey, and that was an incredible comeback to win that fight. But that first round, he was getting dropped. He was getting beat up. And then against Saeed, I think in the third round, he got dropped in that fight as well. So he is getting hit. Luckily for him, Cody Stamann is not a knockout guy, right? He's just kind of a volume guy in and out, but he's constantly moving. And I feel like Douglas is going to need to land power to win the decision. He's going to need to hurt Cody in rounds, in minutes of rounds to be able to win this decision because I think it's going to be a decision. And Cody, with his movement and his footwork, and he's so clean in and out and constantly moving, I just don't think that Douglas is going to be able to chase him down and get in those positions to land the power to be able to win this decision. Now, if Douglas comes in and maybe does find a takedown and is able to use some grappling or whatever, that also is kind of an inside path to victory. But as you mentioned, Cody knows what he's doing in the wrestling. He never really uses wrestling, but he knows how to defend the takedowns and can reverse positions too if you try to out-wrestle him. I just think that Cody is just going to be the cleaner boxer. And even when he gets in the pocket, those combinations, I love the way that he stays safe, right? He's in, he's out, but if he's throwing extended combinations, he's boom, it's hands up, it's head movement. He's not just hanging out in there. And when you hang out in the pocket versus Douglas, that's where you get into trouble. So I like Cody Stamann actually kind of a lot in this fight because I do think it's going to be a decision fight. Should be come down to the boxing, and I like the clean boxing of Cody to win this decision. I don't think he's going to get hurt, and I'm actually pretty confident in Cody in this fight.
Yeah, I'm probably a little less confident than you, but I do think he gets it done. Younger, faster, better everywhere except just straight up raw power, essentially, and raw jiu-jitsu. But, should be able to pitter-patter his way into wrestling takedowns is how I see it going, essentially. The line did tighten, though. Opened at minus 175 favorite. Some betting money came into Douglas, and that squeezed that line a bit. Cody only a minus 145 favorite now. So if you're like Jacob and you're very confident in Cody, then you're going to get yourself a little bit of a discount here and hop on that before it starts to go back the other way. And that's where the line movement tracker is really useful because you can see where it is. You can see where it started. And if you like that, great. And if you want to keep an eye on it, check again the next day and see where it's moving. And if it's going back the other way, right? Maybe it's minus 150, then hit it. You missed the peak, hit it at minus 150. If it's continuing to shrink, well, then just sit tight and wait what happens. But lots of ways to use it.
Man, shrinkage is the worst.
I hear you. Lots of ways to use all those tools, and they're only available to premium members for $10 a month at WeWantPicks.com. $8,500 for Cody Stamann in DraftKings. It's probably money well spent because I think he's going to work in takedowns. He's averaging almost 3 per fight. So he's going to work in some takedowns. He's going to get some control time to probably have striking volume. Not really a finish, but $8,500, that's not terrible money on a dude that'll probably score 85-90 in a win. What do you think?
If he's mixing in takedowns, it's going to be worth it. I don't think he wants to mess around with losing scrambles against a guy like Douglas. I think he's just in and out, boxing, point fighting. So I'd stay away from it.
Yeah, I mean, if that's the fight, then yeah, he's not going to score that well because you're only getting 0.2 points or whatever it is for strikes and a little more for significant strikes. So I guess when you're building your lineup, take a look. And I know Douglas Silva de Andrade is going to be a popular underdog this week. And if you want to vote for who your underdog is, go to WeWantPicks.com/lock. Vote for the community underdog. We're tracking the community's picks. We're tracking Jacob's picks, and let's see who does it better.
And you guys sucked last week. You guys picked Crone Gracie, and then what's his name that Parker fought?
Oh, yeah. That guy looked like such an absolute muppet.
Everyone in here, I guarantee 70% of the people that are in the live chat right now were like, oh, Parker's going to get knocked out. You guys are idiots.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
And nobody cares. And they're going to say bullshit this week, too.
It is crazy.
No accountability.
The community just says whatever they want. No accountability. Meanwhile, Jacob loses 11 locks in a row, and he has to change his address.
Excuse me?
Next up, at UFC Charlotte, we have the rebooked Karl Williams taking on Chase Sherman. This fight was originally supposed to happen as a short notice fight a few weeks back. Chase Sherman was supposed to fight Chris Barnett. Chris Barnett dropped. Karl Williams stepped in, ready to go. Then on fight night, after our DraftKings lineups locked, Chase Sherman dropped out of that fight, and this whole thing fell apart. It has now been rebooked, maybe 3 weeks. I forget how long ago that was. But we have Karl Williams taking on Chase Sherman. Karl Williams, 8-1 overall, 5-0 in his last 5. Coming off his first official UFC win, he's taking on Chase Sherman, 16-11, 1-4 in his last 5. Coming off that loss to Waldo Cortez. Karl Williams, powerful striker. He's always looking to send that right hand. He sends everything with power, but he does manage to keep those straight and solid, meaning earlier we talked about, what's her name, fighting Jessica Rose Clark, sending everything with loops. Karl is sending stuff with power, but straight up the middle, landing nice and fast, not wasting any of that time, throwing in some looping action there. And what I like about it, we talked about this the few times we broke him down, is if he thinks he has you out, he's going to look for that finish. And if he doesn't get it, he will back off, reset, and then just continue to fight. So he's very, very composed for a guy with 9 professional fights. He could wrestle as well. We've talked about this also several times. On the Contender Series, he out-wrestled a very good Division I wrestler. He out-wrestled the dude. Took him down a few times.
Penn
Same
State
with Lucas.
wrestler, not just Division I.
Exactly. The best Division I team. He had 8 takedowns against Lucas Brzeski. Jimmy Lawson was the Penn State wrestler. He took him down 3 times. So not only does he have power in his hands, he has wrestling, which is why the line is what it is. Because he's taking on Chase Sherman. Chase Sherman is a good boxer. He does have nice footwork. He's he's got solid speed, doesn't move his head at all. His head will never move, which is why when you see his negative striking differential in second, you're not going to be very surprised. But the dude is absolutely tough as nails. For the most part, has good takedown defense, right? Alexander Romanov sort of took him down whenever he wanted to. But outside of that, very good takedown defense, very good volume at 6 significant strikes per minute. But he is very, very, very hittable. I got to go Karl Williams all the way. Very confident in Karl Williams. Honestly, one of the easier parlays on this card, which I haven't done yet, I'll probably do, is Karl Williams, and then the over on the girl fight, the Ji-Yoon Kim fight. The over on rounds there is probably a pretty solid parlay. Keep saying it. So very confident in Karl Williams. Probably going to blow through Chase Sherman. What do you think, Jake?
You're going to blow Chase Sherman?
Right through him. How else do you think we get these retweets? Just happening organically? Can you talk about the fight or? I'll wait. I'm not going to wait. I'm not going to wait as long as you're going to wait. Can you please break down this fight?
Can we please move on? Says Angelo. Yeah. Listen, I'm a big Karl Williams fan. I got burnt by Joey T. He's in the chat. Told me, because I was watching that Contender Series fight. We were doing a live stream Contender Series fight, and Joey T's like, oh, this Penn State wrestler is going to take down Karl Williams and dominate him. I'm like, oh, shit. Okay, he's a Penn State wrestler. And Karl Williams came in and just absolutely embarrassed that guy, just absolutely double-legging him, taking him down, controlling him. And I see the same thing happen in this fight. I think he's going to come over, throw that big right hand into a takedown, and really kind of maul Chase Sherman and really try to find that finish that he wasn't able to find in those last couple fights. But, there is a world. Karl Williams does get tired. And he gets tired because he's working, right? I mean, he's not getting tired because he's just not doing anything. He's not one of those heavyweights that all of a sudden it's like 2 minutes of action, now he's tired. It's like, what's going on here? He's getting tired because he is working. He's getting the takedowns. He's trying to get the finish. And when he does get tired, he doesn't quit. He's not one of those guys that's getting tired and he's going to quit. But there is an outside world where he is getting the takedowns, but Chase is tough and surviving. Now we're in the second round. Now he can't quite get the takedowns. And Chase is one of those perfect heavyweights for this situation because he's not a one-punch knockout power guy. He's kind of a volume guy. And if you're not taking him down, he's able to kind of throw the volume and throw the volume and throw the volume. That's how he can kind of win this fight, is basically survive early, get to the second round, defend those takedowns, and then just volume. If he starts headhunting, he's just going to get taken down versus Karl, because Karl can work through the fatigue to still get takedowns even when he is tired. But if Chase just kind of takes his time and kind of pokes at him when he's able to poke at him, there is a world where Chase is able to kind of sneak out the end of the second round, and then Karl is tired in the third round and he wins that fight. But I don't see that happening. I think Karl comes in, gets the double leg, gets him down, and really chases those finishes that he really kind of deserves in my mind against a guy in Chase Sherman who is durable, but just not very good kind of anywhere in this fight. So I'm a big Karl Williams fan. I love him for this division. I think he can be a guy for this division. He is aggressive, and I just love his attitude coming into these fights. So I think he gets it done. I think he gets it done early, and I'm excited for him. This should be a fun fight for him.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well. And, credit to the UFC for at least keeping Chase Sherman around for a little bit. Because that guy, yeah, he's 1-4 in his last 5. He's got a bunch of losses.
Isn't
but he's stepped up on short notice so many times, though.
11 or something in the UFC or something crazy.
It's not great, but like literally more than half those losses, I bet, were short notice step-ups.
Yeah, he shows up.
The Alexander Romanov loss, he stepped up on a week's notice to get that. Like he's done that quite a few times.
He has 10 losses in the UFC in 1, 2, 3, 4. So he's 4-10 in the UFC.
So he started his UFC career as 12-1. Then they chewed him up and then spit him out. Poor guy. Anyway, I actually like Chase Sherman quite a bit. He's never in a boring fight. Always coming forward. Always durable as well. He's not just going to go out there, get hit in the face, and be like, boom, that's it. Like, he'll be there hanging out, trying to get it done. But I will spend that $9,400 on Karl Williams. Will you as well?
Yeah, he's going to be in my DraftKings for sure.
He sure will. He sure will. And if you want to see who else...
Sherman will.
You want to see who else will be in some of our DraftKings lineups and our picks for DraftKings and other DraftKings information, be like the community. One of our premium members just won $78,000 using our insight, our advice, our tools to build a lineup, made a fortune. That could be you. WeWantPicks.com, just $10. It probably won't be, by the way. It's not that easy. But WeWantPicks.com, just $10 a month to unlock everything you could ever want. Let's check up. We got a whole bunch of super chats and a comment. Couple of comments. One, Ben from the Colony. We go to the Colony all the time. Big fan of the Grandscape.
I don't go anywhere, so.
Jacob doesn't go anywhere. I go to the Colony. Grandscape, you go to Topgolf. We've been to Topgolf. That's the Colony.
All the time. When's the last time you've been to the Colony?
We just went there for the freaking.
Okay, the time before that.
I
go twice a year.
I have been 5 times in the last month and a half.
I'd like to see some receipts on that.
There's literally receipts because we're putting carpet in.
Now.
Came from.
Put this slide away. Get out your.
You know what? You know what's so funny?
Your bank account.
Here you go. You know what's so funny? You're
about to dox yourself. Let's see it. You better be real careful with that.
I am. I'm not going to show that. Anyway, okay, I'll show you this.
I wouldn't do that.
This is from the Colony. I'm not going to show the receipt. Thank you, Jacob.
Nebraska Furniture. We love Nebraska Furniture Mart.
We do. That place is phenomenal. Anyway,
it's phenomenal. I got all this furniture, this big ass room, and this big ass room. You know how much money it costs to furnish this fucking lavish penthouse? All of it came from Nebraska.
It's a Murphy bed. All this you
hear this echo? It echoes.
It actually did. That's because it's vacant. You pulled down your Murphy bed. All right, $5 super chat from Joe Todoro. Every time Karl Williams fights now, Jacob won't let me live it down. I mean, it is kind of a bad.
You were so sure of yourself, Joe.
Yeah, that's a bad look.
And I should have known because you are biased for those Pennsylvania guys and everything, the New Jersey guys and everything like that. So, but that was not a fun moment for me on that live stream.
Yeah, 100%. Alan, $5 super chat. I remember a 14-fight win streak for Jacob.
Oh, hell yeah.
I don't.
Oh, hell yeah.
$10 for premium is cheaper than 2 cups of coffee here in California. Alan, we appreciate you very much. That $10 for premium, it's literally, there's people selling just a tiny piece.
We should make it $5.
Nope. I will lose money at $5. That won't cover the overhead. But it super cheap, not cheap because the product is phenomenal. Yeah, super affordable, incredible value. And this challenge still stands. This is serious. This isn't me just talking trash. If you find somebody else's premium, or you've come across somebody else, whether it's a large organization or a small one, that is selling something in premium that we do not have, let me know. We'll take a serious look at it, see if it's something we can add. We did get one suggestion for historical DraftKings pricing. We can try to figure that out. And if you find somebody that has better value, let us know. $2 super chat from IB Win. IB Win, you guys are the best in the business. A couple of hundred emojis. Thank you very much, IB Win.
Appreciate that. That was his first ever super chat, by the way.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Genuinely appreciated. And welcome to the show.
Live long and prosper.
Okay. Thanks for telling me not to dox myself. I 100% was going to hold up that carpet receipt.
Live long and prosper.
Jesus fucking.
Do you know what that is?
Yeah, it's from fucking nerd bullshit. Star Trek. Next up at UFC Charlotte, we have the feature prelim of the evening. We have Matt Brown taking on Court McGee in just probably a battle of the true OG, true OG vets. They both have similar life stories.
Are you going to shave yours for the cruise?
I already did. God does it for me. I can't grow chest hair.
Really?
I cannot grow. I can't grow chest hair at all. Or back hair. I'm very smooth. Matt Brown taking on Court McGee. Both these guys, older gentlemen. Both these guys have been absolutely putting on a show for a very long time. Both came through the Ultimate Fighter. Both have been in some all-time wars. Super durable guys. Very similar fighting styles. We got Matt Brown, 23-19. 2-3 in his last 5. He's coming off a split decision loss to Bryan Barber Abraham. A lot of people think he did enough to win. He's taking on Court McGee, 21-11 overall, 2-3 in his last 5 as well, coming off that knockout loss to Jeremiah Wells. I'm going to break these guys down together because they're very, very similar. Both of these guys come from an era of mixed martial arts where you could just be really tough, understand all aspects of the game, and have some success. They're not particularly fast. They're not particularly athletic. Neither one is amazing at any one thing, but they're both durable. They're both tough. They're both going to keep coming forward. They're both going to keep working hard. And both these guys have had objectively successful careers before these sort of 1% athletes started coming into the sport. The small difference between them is Matt Brown's a little older, a little more years on his body, more of a striker, very powerful hands. Court McGee has become more of a grappler as of late. He's worked in 8 takedowns and 19 minutes of control time in his last 3 fights alone. He is coming off that bad knockout loss to Jeremiah Wells. Matt Brown coming off a split decision. Didn't look great in it, but remains incredibly durable. I think Matt Brown's going to win this fight, but I'm really just basing that off just straight up grit and durability, because if Court McGee wants to wrestle hard, he could have some success, right? That is how people have had success against Matt. So Matt's going to be the pick, literally because I think he's going to be more durable here. He's going to come forward. He's going to bomb away. And Court might be a little gun shy because that was it. Was that his first knockout loss ever? Or it was like the first one in like 20 years?
I mean, that was a not good one.
It was very bad. If it wasn't his first knockout ever, it was like his first.
Santiago Ponzinibbio in 2016.
Yeah, so it was his first in a very, very long
UFC
time.
on Fox 19. You know who headlined that card? 2016. Think about it. 2016 UFC on Fox. I'll give you.
I need a hint.
No, you should know it. Honestly, you should know it. That's your clue.
Give me a weight class. Give me a weight class.
Light heavyweight.
Oh, Glover, and it was Glover, and I watched this live. It was in Tampa. It was Glover and Rashad Evans. I was there in person.
There you go.
Yeah.
There we
Thank
go.
You.
Hey, there we go. Okay, see what the sobriety does? Holy shit.
48 hours.
It's working, 48 baby. Hours, it's working. He's back. Angelo's back. Oh, my God. I'm so happy for him. He's back. Oh, my God. We got Angelo back.
I'm back. Shit. I've wrestled me away from the demons. Actually, this isn't a good joke because both of these guys actually struggled with substance abuse. Really? So maybe don't make lighthearted jokes about me drinking wine on the week.
Well, it seems like they're doing great now. They've had great careers and they're durable guys. And I agree with you. I think that this is a slobber knocker of a fight. And if it comes down to a slobber knocker of a fight, I kind of like Matt Brown. But you did mention the Court McGee in the wrestling. If he's able to get Matt Brown on the ground, on his back, he's going to win that fight. But, Matt Brown is a durable guy. And it seems like, and I mentioned this in my quick picks, and you maybe you agree or disagree with me. Everything that Matt Brown does is like, it feels, and this is going to sound so stupid, but it feels like it's like tricky. Like it feels like it's just like unexpected. Like the elbow, when he's in the clinch, the elbows he throws. You saw that against Bryan Barberena, like the inside trip takedowns that he has. Everything he does feels like it's just like, just comes out of nowhere, and he surprises people with it. And I can see him having that success in here. Court McGee getting in the clinch positions, not taking down Matt Brown right away, but Matt Brown's against the fence. Also, it's Bohm, it's those elbows, it's those weird situations where he's cutting them up, and he's just being Matt Brown in a fight. And maybe this is I don't want to say a biased pick. It's not like I'm like a huge Matt Brown fan, but how can you root against a guy like Matt Brown? Nothing against Court McGee, but this might be a pick from the heart. But I'll be honest, if you guys are putting money on Court McGee after that horrible knockout at minus 230, do not do that. I mean, yes, he might come. Yes, he might come in and take him down and win the fight, and you'll be like, of course we should have bet. But I do not do that. There's better places to put your money than Court McGee at minus 230.
Especially this card.
Yeah, against a guy as durable and tough and weird. I don't know what else to say as Matt Brown. So I'm going to pick Matt Brown as well. I didn't let the odds sway me. I think it's a close fight, and I think Matt Brown can sneak this one out, man.
Well, yeah, and this is that fight I mentioned earlier with the incredible line movement, plus 140 open for Court McGee, and I can understand taking him at maybe plus 140. Like, hey, listen, But at some point he was minus 200, and then people continued to put money on him and drove it to 235, and that does seem a little bit wide. And we keep talking about Court can wrestle. Matt Brown had 5 takedowns in that loss to Bryan Barberena, which is why a lot of people think he could have won it.
And those takedowns, it was like the inside trip. He literally just shoved them down, it was like a kid at recess, like just picking on kids, like put your foot behind him and just push them backwards. And honestly, anyone can kind of take Bryan Barberena down, but he did do it as well. So,
but just the fact that he wanted to do it, right? He is evolving, I guess, right? Like, let me mix this up.
Top controls. He got on top of him too. He followed him to the ground, and
No, for sure. So anyway, we're both on the Matt Brown side, but this should not be a fight that you spend money on. Could be a good DraftKings fight though. $7,500 on Matt Brown. We need some underdogs. You know for a fact this dude's going to fight for your money, and frankly, I think he wins. So I may have him in my lineup. What are you laughing at? The biker gang thing?
Yeah, they do look like they could be like rival biker gang leaders. What are you doing in my bar?
Well, WeWantPicks.com. It's only $10 a month. Just click become a member at the top. You're going to unlock everything that we have. The picks, the bets, the line movement tracker, the data, the insight, all of the information. The freaking DraftKings Optimizer builds lineups for you. You click a few buttons, it'll spit out your lineup. WeWantPicks.com. Just click become a member at the top.
What were the gangs in? Was it Romeo and Juliet? Did they like the gang wars in Romeo and Juliet? What am I thinking of?
You're thinking of
or Hamlet,
West Side Story.
No,
Sharks and Jets.
No, there's something else. No, I think in Romeo and Juliet there's stuff too.
Okay, I really could give that no fucks.
Well, that's important. It's kind of U.S. history.
Next up at UFC Charlotte, we have Tim Means taking on Alex Morono. Tim Dirty Bird Means is 32-14 overall, 3-2 in his last 5, riding a 2-fight skate. He's taking on Alex Morono, 22-8 overall, 4-1 in his last 5, coming off that late knockout loss to Ponzinibbio. This is another fight with some interesting, with an interesting line. The movement is not interesting. The movement makes a lot of sense here. But Tim Means opened as a pretty big underdog, is still a pretty big underdog, but it has tightened. And I'm surprised he's that big of an underdog because I don't think anybody should ever really be a 2-1 favorite over Tim Means unless you're a top-ranked guy. Tim Means is tough. He's high volume. He's a solid striker. He can work in takedowns when he needs to. He's tricky in his striking because he's got that karate-style stance. 24 of his 32 wins are by stoppage. He has been stopped, though, 8 times on the other side of that. But everything about Tim is a mixed bag. He can come out there and look like he has phenomenal striking. Then we'll see him lose his striking match. He can come out there, use his wrestling really well, and then see him lose his wrestling match. But the reality is, Tim Means is an active guy. He's got a frustrating style. And he is coming off a really, really close loss to Max Griffin where he was knocked down. But he had 3 takedowns and he landed more total strikes. And he's fighting Alex Morono. Alex Morono used to be a mixed bag, right? There was times where you'd watch Alex Morono fight and you could be like, this guy could be a world champ. Then you'd see him fight, and you're like, what's going on with this guy? Why can't he put it together? He did build himself a nice little streak there, start to put it all together, had a couple nice wins in a row, was solid fight with Ponzinibbio before he ended up getting work there. But he's a well-rounded guy, clean striking, solid grappling. His body's always in the right place at the right time. He's always doing the right things. And he can work in takedowns if he needs to, if he's getting into some trouble. He was up 2-0 on the Ponzinibbio scorecards before getting stopped in the third. I do think Alex Morono wins, so my open here wasn't to say that Tim Means is going to win. It was just, I don't know if minus 325, that opening line, that definitely seems super wide. Tim Means is a tricky, gritty kind of guy. The line's shrinking. It's now minus 223. I do think Alex Morono wins, but I personally, low confident pick. I'm not going to spend the money because Alex is going to need to stick and move. He doesn't typically work in the takedown, so it's going to be a lot of stick and move, probably defending takedowns, and that could be a little bit of a trouble if Tim's just come charging forward. What do you think?
Yeah, I have all the respect in the world for the Dirty Bird. I mean, you nailed it. He's a well-rounded guy. He's a durable guy. But I just don't know what he has to offer for Alex Morono. First of all, Alex Morono is probably the most high-level jiu-jitsu practitioner that you've never heard of because he never used it. But he literally is like a double black belt in jiu-jitsu, and he's a very smart dude as well. So if he does get in trouble, he can rely on that. There's in no world do I see Tim Means out grappling a guy like Alex Morono. So then it comes down to the striking, and I don't see Tim Means out striking Alex Morono. As you mentioned, Ponzinibbio, that last fight, that was like on 4 days' notice. Alex Morono came in and was just beating the shit out of Ponzinibbio. Ponzinibbio is a very, very good technical striker and was literally just doing whatever he wanted in there. I think in the third round, the short notice started to catch up to him, and the success of the earlier round started to catch up to him because he started headhunting a little bit too much. He was a little bit exhausted, mouth open, and he was really kind of just trying to put Ponzinibbio out in that third round and end up getting caught. It happens sometimes, short notice, and I don't think it was like a super bad knockout. He was put down, but he was still kind of there, and they stopped the fight. It is what it is. He's got that high guard. He throws out that jab, and he got real power in his hands. And I just love his footwork for this fight. Ponzinibbio was not able to touch him until that late when he was overextending. Tim Means, I don't think he's going to be technical enough. And when he tries to get wild, I think Alex Morono is going to be there with the power. So I definitely don't think the Dirty Bird can come in and out grapple Alex Morono. So it's going to come down to the striking, and I believe that Alex Morono is the better striker. He's got that high guard. It looks weird when he's in there. It's going to look like, holy shit, does this guy know what he's doing? Because he's, his hands are like up here, and he's bouncing, but all of a sudden he snaps that jab, and he throws a little bit too. He throws that two behind it. And it's like, oh shit, yeah, this guy does know what the hell he's doing in there. And his footwork is good. He's very clean. And like I say, he's a very high IQ fighter. Made a mistake last fight. I think he cleans it up, and I think he can come in here and absolutely kind of dominate the Dirty Bird. I don't know if he's going to be able to find the finish. Dirty Bird's a tough dude, but if Dirty Bird if he comes in and thinks he's gonna wrestle this guy, or maybe he gets hurt and he tries to default to wrestling, he'll get choked out too. So I'm all in on Alex on this play.
Yeah, we're both on the same side of the pick. This is why we do confidence levels for premium members. If you're a premium member, you go to my page, you go to Jacob's page, you're gonna see, if you're on my page, for example, you're gonna see the fight, my pick for that fight, my confidence level in the pick for that fight, and then you're going to see my round line
are high. All mine are high this week. You didn't change those, right?
I did change them. Honestly, somebody in Discord was like, Jacob, at a certain point.
Oh,
yeah. He's not right. He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
Well, I was proving a point. Angel called me a pussy. I said, okay, fine.
Yeah.
That's how I handle my business. I'll get right in your face.
You're like a little brat is how you handled it.
What do you mean?
Like little brat.
You said, oh, why you... The whole thing started with the Pete Rodriguez. Why do you have him as low? I was like, okay. Well,
I said, what a loser. All that yelling and screaming you did about Pete Rodriguez, and you listed him as a low confidence pick. And you're like, me, I'm going to make him all high. That's what happened.
Like a man.
It was in a man voice and everything. We're both on the same side of the pick here. I think I have the DraftKings prices flipped. You're going to spend the... I was going to say, that's...
non-professionalism. Jesus Christ, right on cue there.
That timing was not...
I just realized that flag. What is that, the North Carolina flag?
Yes. I told you. Every time they go to a new place, I use the local flag. At least this is colorful. That Jersey flag
Doesn't that say the city of Charlotte? Did you take
it? It is the Charlotte flag, yes. If a city has a flag, I'll use the city flag.
Doesn't all cities have flags? Indianapolis has the best city flag in the world.
Well, and the North Carolina flag sucks. So the Charlotte flag is what I went with. Anyway, thank you for noticing. Honestly, we talked about this last week. We have the best graphics in this game. There's nobody. Look at this graphic. Look at what you're getting on here. You're going to get the obvious, the weight class, their records. You're going to get their records in the last 5, the country that they're from, the opening odds, the current odds, and DraftKings pricing. And then if we go to this slide, you're going to get height, reach, stance, age.
How beautiful
then,
is that?
Strike, that's Indianapolis. It's basically the same flag we're looking at now. You're going to get all the significant strike stats and all the grappling stats. I don't know what anybody else could ever want out of a graphic. This is incredible stuff.
I mean, incredible. Nothing better than Indiana. Nothing better than Indiana.
That looks like it was made in MS Paint.
Fuck
anyway,
you, bitch.
Are you going to spend the $8,800 on Alex Morono?
Yeah. Probably, yeah. To be honest with you.
I would hope so after that whole song and dance. I don't know if I will. Probably not. But he's definitely one of the... It's a low confidence pick for me, but definitely one of the more straightforward fights if he gets his game going. It's Tim that's the question mark. Tim is the question mark in this fight, which is why I'm probably going to stay away from it. Is it a dance? Is a Dirty Bird an actual dance?
What?
The fuck do I know? We know that I'm older.
I love to skate. I
love to skate.
You didn't do that at the skating rink?
No, I went to a skating rink.
You're skating rink. I
don't ever remember that.
I love to skate. What did you chant? I saw Chase Sherman.
Mostly technical or techno music. A lot of okay. If I were green, I would die. I'm away. Ready? Let's go. Next up at UFC Charlotte, we have Daniel Rodriguez taking on Ian Garry in the feature fight of the evening. Jacob and I are split on this fight for sure. We got Daniel Rodriguez 17-3 overall, 4-1 in his last 5. He's coming off the 3rd round submission loss to Neil Magny. But if you remember, he had like a 3-month stretch there where he was booked, not booked, short notice. Fight was rescheduled. He had a lot going on in that couple of month span there, and that could have affected.
If he doesn't get taken down in that 3rd round, he wins that fight.
He was winning that fight.
It was a close fight, but yes, because he was my lock of the week that week, and that was not a fun watch for me.
I remember watching you watch it, which was fun for me. He's taking on undefeated Ian Garry, who is looking for his 5th USC win. These are 2 strikers, and this will be an interesting fight because we haven't really seen Ian Garry fight somebody at the level of Daniel Rodriguez yet. Not that Daniel Rodriguez is some world beater, but Daniel Rodriguez is going to come in here, have technical striking. He's a very good boxer. He picks his shots well. Really good takedown defense. No grappling, but he's not going to need it in this fight. His boxing is crisp. His cardio is very good. He does use his cardio as a weapon at times. He's going to keep coming, keep throwing, keep coming, keep throwing.
He's with Eddie Bravo, by the way. No grappling. Disrespectful.
Okay.
10th planet.
Anybody
rubber
can
guard,
sign
rubber
up
guard,
at any
rubber
gym.
guard.
Okay. He can fade later in rounds, but it doesn't really stop him, right? And that's so you're grappling on him and you're shooting on him like crazy. He's going to defend the takedowns. It will wear on him a bit, but I don't think that's going to be a concern in this fight. I don't see Ian Garry going that route. Ian Garry, in his own right, is a very good striker. Crazy hand speed, fantastic footwork. He is hittable. We've been saying he's hittable since his very first fight. Going into his first fight, it was this guy's hittable. Then in his first fight, he was hit. And he gets hit in almost every fight, most notably in his last fight. Dude was almost down and out. And he was like one of the most bet fighters on that card, and he was almost out cold.
No, it was not. I was in the arena. By the way, I was at 285, and that was not a fun moment to watch him get dropped like that because I was locked and loaded on Ian Garry that night.
It was bad, but he was able to recover. He dusted it off, put it back together, and then was able to get his own stoppage win in the 3rd. And I get it. Like he's a very good striker, and he seems to be he's definitely not seems to be. He's putting people out. He's doing the right things. He's tough. He is way too hittable. I don't think anybody can argue with that. He is way too hittable, and he's getting dropped. His chin is holding up. It's almost Drew Dober-esque outside of this past week, where he's getting dropped but recovering, and then putting it back together. But I think Daniel Rodriguez is a little different. Daniel Rodriguez is a lot better than some of these other guys that Ian Garry's been fighting. If Daniel Rodriguez, who doesn't have insane one-punch power, but he's got very good volume, very good accuracy, and is a good striker. If Kenan Song got to Ian Garry like that, I could see Daniel Rodriguez getting to him more often. Probably not going to drop him, right? Because he doesn't have that same insane power. But I think Daniel Rodriguez is a solid underdog. People hate that pick. Some people love it. I mean, I guess that's what happens. We have 13,000 subscribers. We're going to get both sides.
Say it again. Oh my God, my nipples got hard.
It is. Hey, listen, I'm
almost
proud of
2
it
million.
too.
We'll have 2 million views this week. Or I mean, this month.
Yep. It's all going well. Okay, I can hear the rubbing. But I do think Daniel Rodriguez is a solid underdog here. I think he's going to be the best striker that Ian Garry has fought so far, without a question. Who else could it possibly be? I was impressed with how Ian recovered in the last fight, but if that was against Daniel Rodriguez, I don't think Daniel would have given him the time to recover. He would have immediately poured it on and immediately come forward, immediately started touching him up again. Where Kenan was like
shot a
working.
Takedown.
Yeah, it was like working other stuff.
How many times
what are you
do we
doing?
see that? I mean, how many times do we see somebody hurt somebody? I think last week it happened to somebody. It's like, what are you? I mean, I've sitting here on these live streams like, what are you doing? Get off of them. Holy shit.
It makes absolutely no. We did see it in the last week. The dude fighting Joseph Holmes, Claudio Ribeiro.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, because I'm like, get that stupid guy out of there. Just clocks him. Joseph Holmes and he shoots a takedown. I was like, holy shit, dude, what are you doing?
Well, go ahead. That's my pick.
Let me just first say, Jesse, my dude, I got the D-Rod poster behind me, D-Rod former lock of the week, and I will say that these odds are some of the most disrespectful fucking odds I've ever seen in my life. D-Rod in no way, shape, or form should be a plus 265 to Ian Garry. Now, I'm also a huge Ian Garry fan. I think Ian Garry, as a person, a little bit of a douchebag, right? I mean, he comes in, he tries to be the Conor McGregor stuff, he tries to talk the talk, everything's scripted, he doesn't do it very well, and I understand
his
why
wife's
people...
last name.
Yeah, I understand.
That's your man. That's your minus
Machado.
300
That's
favorite.
Machado.
Took his wife's last name.
Ian Machado. But I will say, if you put all that stuff aside, I think he is a fantastic striker. I mean, very, very clean. He's got to clean some stuff up defensively. I agree. But in that fight, when he was dropped, his ability to recover and not panic for a young guy, especially an undefeated fighter. We talk all the time about undefeated fighters, and we're probably one of the, I don't want to say one of the only channels, but we will tell it to you straight and say, listen, we see all the first round finishers, we see all this, but we don't know yet, right? How many times have we told you guys, we don't know when adversity comes, can they overcome it? Ian Garry's an undefeated fighter who has overcome adversity. He's getting dropped. He's gone through the tough decision fights, and he has come through and he has won those fights. So I don't have to worry about Ian Garry as much as these undefeated fighters. In that fight, his last fight, when he got dropped, he was able to immediately get to the fence. He got to the fence. He stayed safe. He got out of the round. What did he do when he got to the stool? He looked his coach in the eye and he said, that was my fault. I got a little aggressive there. That was my fault. I'm not going to let it happen again. He understands when he makes mistakes and he stays in the moment. He doesn't panic. We see a lot of times these young kids, they panic in those moments. He stayed safe. He came out in the second round, was a little bit more tactical, a little bit more safe, won that round. And in the third round, when you see him pouring on, when he gets in the flow, I'll say it right now, there is nobody in this division that is a better flow striker than Ian Garry. I mean, he has boom, boom, fast hands. The way he throws body and head and the combinations he puts together. Now, against D-Rod, God, it pains me to say this, but I think D-Rod's going to have the pressure. I think D-Rod is going to have Ian Garry against the fence where Ian Garry is very comfortable fighting. And D-Rod is a very proud guy. He's a very proud guy. He's a very proud fighter. And I assume he feels extremely disrespected. This kid's coming in. I'm almost a 3-1 dog to this kid. And he's looking at this kid. I think he's going to get a little bit too aggressive. He might touch Ian Garry early, and he's going to overextend. And when you overextend against Ian Garry, he will just absolutely pick you apart. And I just see that happening to D-Rod in this fight. I have nothing against D-Rod. This is a great test for Ian Garry. This is one of those fights where it's like, are you real or are you not? And we're going to find out if Ian Garry is going to reel. D-Rod is a great test for him because he does have the boxing. I just think he's going to get a little bit too overextended, and Ian Garry's going to be either with the counter strikes. He's just so fast. This guy's so fast, man. So Ian Garry's going to be my pick. I'm pretty confident in it, but I got all the respect in the world for D-Rod, and these odds are crazy. If I'm putting these, I think Garry should be the favorite, like minus 150, minus 175. I would probably bet something like that, but I'm staying away from that. Let's let him get through the D-Rod fight, and then we can start loading up on the kid.
Yeah, listen, I'm on the Daniel Rodriguez side. It's a low confidence pick, right? I'm not swinging from the rafters and doing anything with
Rodriguez in it.
I'm not Pete Rodriguez.
Yeah,
exactly.
We got D-Rod. Hey, how about the D-Rod P-Rod parlay?
Well, I would hate if that hit. So no. But anyway, Daniel Rodriguez, you were right when you said Ian Garry's a flow fighter. This stat right here, you can't see my mouse. I'm hovering over the 7.2 significant strikes landed per minute. That stat from Daniel Rodriguez is why I personally don't think Ian's going to get the time to hit a flow. Daniel just keeps pumping it out there, especially when he doesn't have to worry about takedowns. He just lets his hands go, and that volume just continues to stay out there. He's not going to let this kid hit a rhythm. His chin is high. It's too high. So we're on opposite sides of this. Let's throw 100 on this at odds.
What's that?
Let's throw $100 on this with the odds.
I just said I don't like the odds for Ian Garry. Why would I play that bet?
Well, if we want to do 100 on the other fight, let's do one here too, and we're good. 2-1. I'll give you 2-1. I'll even give you better odds.
I like the odds in the other one. I literally just said I don't like the odds of the Ian Garry. I'm not.
I just lowered them for you. I lowered them from you 2-1. I'm giving you 2-1.
I said I'd like it at 150. Don't you remember I just said that 2 minutes ago?
Absolute dork.
I'm not the one sitting here screaming like, oh, he's a lock. You were the one that was screaming that fucking Natan Levy was a lock. He's in my safety parlay. You should bet everything if you guys blah, blah. I didn't sit here and do that for Ian Garry. I said I don't agree with these odds. I think it should be minus 150.
And you said I agree with his life choices and what he did with his last name. And it says a lot about you as a person. Very progressive.
Personal because you just got
very
caught.
Progressive. I didn't get caught. I offered you a bet and you declined. I offered you a
nonsense bet.
I offered you a nonsense bet. You and I are on opposite sides of this. I offered you a bet. I improved the odds for you and you turned it down. That's
after
it.
You're the one making it a fucking odds thing. After I literally said,
you're the one making
minus 150 is where I would feel comfortable.
Bullshit odds. Everybody on this planet on the Ian Garry side would love 2-1 odds. I gave you bullshit odds. Fuck off.
All right, somebody put in the chat that you'll take that bet, and Angelo bet you right now. He just said he would.
Absolute joke. No, I can't trust these people. How many times have we beaten the community? How many times have we beat the community and they don't pay?
Let's see if a member pops up and says, "I'll take it, Angelo." We can trust our members. Let's see.
Can we? I really don't know. If
Twice in a row, this fucking fat turd.
I'll bet you.
Shits.
I'll bet Joey T.
Shit bitch.
I'll bet you. I'll bet Joey T. I'll bet Jesse. Names I see. Quint. I'd bet. Yeah, so am I though. I'd bet Quint.
No, but you're naming everyone that's on the D-Rod side.
I don't know what half those people are on. Jeff Lebowski. I trust Jeff Lebowski. That sounds like he said I'll take it. Name.
So there you go.
I don't know who the fuck this guy is. Anyway, $7,200 to $9,200. I will spend the $7,200 on D-Rod because I think that volume is really going to add up. Do you like Ian Garry and DraftKings at least?
I think I respect D-Rod too much to put Ian Garry in my DraftKings, to be honest with you.
I mean, it makes sense. He's not a guy that you're just going to put out. I mean, he's a tough guy, big-time chin. Yeah, EO. I'll bet EO. Yeah, exactly. That's why I can't bet the community anymore. Because if I lost, I would have paid up. It would have been a thing. Never hear the end of it. Then I win, and we just lose it. You know what's funny? You mentioned EO. Anybody doesn't.
What's with Joey T? I'm on FaceTime, and the girlfriend said, "Why you got a
we
girlfriend?
Get it, dude.
Yeah, we get it. Holy shit, man!
Jesus Christ.
He knows that it's so rare for a guy like him to have a girlfriend that he's got to be like, I've got a girlfriend at every moment.
Anyway, anybody who doesn't know, EO was a dude in our wasn't a premium member. Oh no, he was. I'm sorry. He was a premium member.
Still
but he
is.
was. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Then he was in the Discord. In the Discord, I think he has memberships on multiple people. He's taking everybody's bets, throwing them in the Discord, pretending everything on horses, baseball, like pretending he's a genius. Everything him, changing his stories. Like the kid was an absolute nightmare. So we just kicked him out. Like, you're toxic, you're ruining the environment here.
Was the Paul Craig stuff?
Well, so yeah. We eventually kicked him out, but what crossed the line was he was telling everybody, Paul Craig's going to beat Johnny Walker. Paul Craig's going to beat Johnny Walker. Betting everybody. And people were betting him. Yeah,
Literally,
people were betting.
People were like, okay, let's do $500. There was like 4 or 5 people bet him $500.
Well, people were normal. People were like, how much? You tell me. And he's like, I'll bet 500. Like, he's the one who putting out these stupid numbers. And so then... obviously, Paul Craig got fucking flatlined, looked stupid as hell, lost that fight big time. Ihor just disappeared for 2 weeks. Disappeared for 2 weeks. Comes back. Here's my bet. Like nothing ever happened. And we were like, dude.
Hey, you gonna? All we said is you're gonna apologize. Like, we probably would have just welcomed him back, honestly, because at that point it was been weeks. You gonna apologize? No, I'm not gonna apologize. It's like, all right, fucking idiot. See you, bud.
Well, the best part about
and if you're in here right now, you're a piece of fucking shit,
dude. He is. He is.
Right.
He's a premium member right now. He signs up. I don't know what he does with the bet. I've debated blocking his IP because we can do that to premium members. I debated blocking his IP, but I was like, no, fuck it. I'll take his $10. Let him go be toxic somewhere else, and we'll take the $10. Although he's probably giving away the safety parlay as if it's its own. That's probably is what he's doing. Anyway, kid sucks. If you want to be like EO, WeWantPicks.com. Become a premium member. You could be just like him. Just don't act like an asshole. Next up, at UFC Charlotte, we have the co-main event of the evening. We have Anthony Smith taking on Johnny Walker. Anthony Smith, 36-17 overall, 3-2 in his last 5. He's coming off that loss to Ankalaev. He's taking on Johnny Walker, 20-7 overall, 3-2 in his last 5. He is riding a 2-fight win streak. And what's so impressive about that win streak, or what's nice about that win streak, is if you remember, Johnny Walker was like a killer. Came into the division. Dude, 6'6", huge for light heavyweight. Had a couple of really nice high quality wins. Then started to, get a little adversity there. Then went to SBG Ireland, the gym that Connor trains at, and then his career took a nosedive. All of a sudden, Johnny Walker's getting put out. Johnny Walker's losing decisions to Thiago Santos, where he's just staring at his feet. And it's just like, oh boy, that gym ruined this guy. Like, ruined him.
He's still there, I think.
Well, and then he found his footing. I don't know if they made adjustments or he did or what, right? But now he's like back to his old self. He was a wild guy that would do whatever. And I think what SBG did is they tried to tighten him up. They tried to be too technical. And eventually, like, you are just who you are, and you have to work with that skill set with you're comfortable with. You're not just going to...
guys. There's nothing more important than just being true to yourself.
You're not going to change this dude's style completely after 20 professional fights, but lately he has been himself again. He's taking chances. He's getting a little wild, but still cleaned it up and is still coming forward and being a little more technical about it. He is an unorthodox guy. He's very dangerous, very, very dangerous. And that struggle bus was like late 2021, early 2022. But since then, he's getting these wins together. He's coming forward while remaining creative. And he's on a nice little 2-fight first-round stoppage streak. But he's taking on Anthony Smith. That's not an easy outing for anybody. He's a pretty well-rounded striker. He's got fantastic hands, solid kicks. He's also a solid grappler as well. He submitted Ryan Spann, Devin Clark, even Alexander Gustafsson. His wrestling kind of sucks, though. Low 27% takedown accuracy, 48% takedown defense. So the submissions are really if you're sort of engaging that game from him. But he's tough as nails. We'll say this every single time we break him down. Glover Teixeira knocked his teeth out of his face. He picked him up off the mat, handed him to the referee, and then continued to take his beating. While Glover apologized to him or punched him in the face. So it was that was one of the craziest fights. And that was a COVID fight, too. That fight is a little bit off topic. That fight is what sent Glover to the title fight. His popularity rose because it was during COVID. UFC was the only sport on television, and Glover literally knocked his teeth out of his face, was apologized, and so people loved him after that. So anyway, Anthony Smith, dumb tough, technical striker. And I totally understand the line flip. Anthony Smith opened at a plus 135 underdog, has now become the favorite, very, very slight favorite here. I get it. He's the more experienced guy. He's got the better resume. He's certainly absolutely tough as hell. Not a guy that you're just going to get out of there whenever you want to. That does make this a little tricky. If this was 5 rounds, I would probably pick Anthony Smith. But it's 3 rounds, so I'm going to go Johnny Walker. I think Johnny Walker's creativity, if he's going to come forward, throw wild, spin, we know he can hang tough. Johnny Walker has actual solid takedowns if he ever wants to use them. So I like Johnny Walker to get this done, but the bet's going to be over 1.5 because Anthony Smith is very, very tough. Johnny Walker, Anthony Smith's not like put you out early kind of guy. So I think the over 1.5 is the bet here. I think I have placed that bet as well and thrown that up there for premium members. Picks Johnny Walker, but I think the smarter money's on the over round instead. What do you think, Jakey?
Personally, I would stay away from that because there's just so many question marks with Johnny Walker. I believe I don't care who Johnny Walker fights. I don't care if it's John Jones. I don't care if it's Ryan Hall. I don't care if it's Amanda Hebos, Tabitha Ricci, Mackenzie Dern, Gloria DePaula. I don't care who it is. I believe that he should be a pick'em in every single fight because you just don't know what's going to happen to a Johnny Walker fight. You literally have no idea. And the issue is in his last 2 fights, he looked great in his last 2 fights, but he really didn't have any adversity in those fights. Kutalaba took him down. He reversed the position. He chokes him out. His chin was not tested. Paul Craig, tried to grab his leg. He knocks him out. His chin was not tested. So we really haven't seen Johnny Walker's chin tested since he was knocked out, 3 fights ago. But in this fight, it comes down to when I watch Anthony Smith, and I like Anthony Smith. I actually picked Anthony Smith. This is going to sound even. I mean, I'm going to lose a lot of credibility here. I picked Anthony Smith against John Jones in that title fight because I believe he is such a high IQ guy and he can figure out fights and he is very well rounded everywhere. He's a very dangerous guy on the ground. He's got good boxing. As you mentioned, he is tough as shit. But when I watch Anthony Smith fight, it feels like everything he's doing, he's thinking. Everything like you saw that Ankalaev fight, and I know that he blew out his ankle, and that's why he lost that fight. But even early on, it feels like he's just waiting, and he's thinking, and he's thinking, and he's thinking. It's like, what do I do now? Okay, he's doing this, he's doing that. Where Johnny Walker, as you mentioned, is just everything he does. He's just doing it. He's just in there flowing. He's just in there reacting, and he just does stuff. And in that fight, I think that's what it comes down to. Johnny Walker's going to be in there free flowing, and Anthony Smith's just going to be waiting too much. Okay, what's he going to do? What's he going to do? He can't determine what Johnny Walker is going to do because Johnny Walker doesn't know what he's doing. There's no reads to make on Johnny Walker. You can't, okay, he's throwing this, now he's going to throw this. You can't because Johnny Walker will just do wild shit. So when you're sitting there trying to make reads against a guy like Johnny Walker, you're going to tell you he's just such a talented, powerful, explosive guy. You're just going to be in trouble before you can make those reads. And I just see how that fight, I see that playing out that way. But if Johnny Walker comes in, does something stupid, Anthony Smith throws a 2 down the pipe and knocks him out, I'm not going to be surprised either. So Johnny Walker's be my pick because I think he is just the more talented fighter of the two. It's a pick him for a reason. This might be one of those, it's a co-main event, a Saturday afternoon, throw $100 on either side and have some fun with it. But this definitely is not a parlay piece for either side or anything crazy like that. It should be a fun fight because Johnny Walker is a fun dude, but he is going to be my pick. But I got all the respect in the world for Anthony, man.
Oh, absolutely. And one of the things I forgot to mention is Anthony's got that cushy desk job now. He's focusing on his post-fight career, as he should be. He's got that UFC analyst desk job, does a great job breaking down fights, stuff like that. I can't imagine. I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to go ahead and assume what he is or is not doing, but that's his future. So I think he's a little more focused on setting up his post-fight career, while Johnny Walker is just like, this is all I got. I got to come in here and win this fight. And
it sounded like going into that Ankalaev fight that he put everything into that fight. He was in the best shape of his life. He was training. He put on extra weight, and the weight cut was really, really rough for him because he wanted to put on the extra weight to be ready, and that was his big moment to get back in the picture. And then he blows out his ankle. He loses the fight. So how do you really come back when you put everything into a fight, and it doesn't go your way, even though there was an ankle injury? How do you really kind of come back? And then, if he loses this one, there's no more title picture for Anthony Smith, You got to win this one.
No, I agree. It should be a really fun fight, though. It's a solid co-main event. And the fact that even the chat is split and the chat's talking about this is a tough fight to pick, and it is. And that, I mean, fights like this are great because it is tough to pick. We don't know what's going to happen. So I'm going to enjoy it. Credit to both these guys. Should be a lot of fun. DraftKings, completely split. I think you do need one of these guys in your DraftKings lineup. So I think you just got to pick your side. If you're on the Anthony Smith side, you can get him at 8,000. You're on Johnny Walker's side. I think 8,200 is a solid price. The finish is probably more likely. Man, I don't know, because Anthony Smith is so tough to say more likely on the Johnny Walker side. It's actually, that's why I went the over 1.5, honestly, because Anthony Smith is super tough, and Johnny Walker, you mentioned his chin, but yeah, he went 5 rounds with Thiago Santos, and it's not like Thiago cracked him, but that was a powerful dude that could crack anybody. You going to throw one of them in your DraftKings lineup, or are you just going to leave it?
I'll be honest. I think that Johnny's going to make my lineup. I think there's just too much value there.
There we go. Guys, WeWantPicks.com. Just click become a member. It's only $10 a month. You're going to unlock literally everything, including our DraftKings Insight, bets, picks, the DraftKings Optimizer, and so much more. But for free, if you go to WeWantPicks.com, you're going to see an enter your picks button right at the top. It's free. You just enter your picks, and if you pick a whole card correctly, it's free and to enter. You don't need to be a premium member. If you enter all your picks and you get it correct, we send you $100. It's a fun little contest. Nobody's done it yet. Actually, one person did it, but he entered like 15 lineups, or 15 different one time. You can vote one time for your picks, but it's free, costs nothing. Just go to WeWantPicks.com. Big green button right smack at the top that says enter your picks, and if you get them correctly, $100. Thanks for pointing that out, Mike Imperial. Next up at UFC Charlotte, we have the main event of the evening. We have Jairzinho Rozenstruik. I say Rozenstruik, but he just tweeted exactly how to pronounce it, and I forget how.
I think it's Struik.
Yeah. Rozenstruik taking on Jailton Almeida.
Jairzinho, Biggie boy, baby. Biggie boy.
Biggie boy, 13-4 overall, 2-3 in his last 5, coming off the KO win over Chris Daukaus. He's taking on Jailton Almeida, 18-2 overall, undefeated in the UFC. He's riding a 14-fight win streak. This is funny breakdown for me. I mentioned this in my quick picks video, but every single time that Jairzinho gets bored or fight week is coming up, his Instagram story is me saying he's going to lose to Chris Daukaus. Obviously, I was wrong there,
and
but it's just
me saying
you're not in all of them now.
He's going to absolutely destroy, and then it cuts to him blitzing across and destroying.
Yeah, so
it was more about me than you.
All the ones I've seen were quite the opposite, which I'd rather it be more about you.
And it goes to me. It's because I actually said he's going to absolutely destroy this clown, but he cuts off before I say clown because I think he doesn't like that for me, disrespecting fighters. So it was really more about me.
Okay, well, congratulations on that notoriety. Very well done. But Jairzinho Rozenstruik, as we know, he's a very heavy-handed striker, a Muay Thai guy. Technique-wise, it's that Muay Thai technique, those Muay Thai strikes. But he does like to counter. He'll wait. He'll back up. As soon as you overcommit, he'll send it. As Jacob mentioned, that wasn't the case in that Chris Daukaus fight. He came forward. Forward pressure made it happen in that regard. But that's not the norm for him. But that does make this breakdown a little more complicated because is that the new norm? Was that just for that fight because he's coming off the loss? Like, what was that about? But typically he's waiting, letting you overcommit, and then he'll come forward, then he'll throw big, he'll throw heavy. He can fall behind on the scorecards as well and then sort of need that big knockout later to get it done because of that counter-striking and because of the waiting. He has no takedowns in the UFC. I think he has no takedown attempts as well, but he does have a 75% takedown defense, and he's been taken down by some of the better guys, right? Curtis Blades, Cirogan, and even Alistair Overeem. What's the big, what?
You're DraftKings again.
Oh, whatever. Fuck off. Jailton Almeida is the real deal. Let's not forget he's a light heavyweight who moved up to heavyweight. But he is the real deal. I mean, this guy has been absolutely blowing through the heavyweight division and then Anton Turkalj. But he's been absolutely blowing through the division, taking them down with relative ease, beating them up from there, and getting it done. He actually does have quite the striking credentials as well. His father was an amateur boxer. He's been boxing since he was just a kid, and he's got some solid striking, but he just seems to have fallen in love with his grappling. And he is a powerful, powerful guy that's going to blast W, pick you up or dump you. And then people are not getting back up on him. He's got great top control. These are not sloppy takedowns. Once he gets you to the ground, he has phenomenal pressure and control. We don't really know what his cardio situation is because we haven't seen him fight that long. And that is actually my real hesitation with this fight. I do think Almeida wins. I think he's going to get the takedown and do what he does, right? So I'm pretty confident in that regard. But we just don't know about his cardio. There is a piece of me that's worried he's going to come in, get a takedown or try to get a takedown, not going to get everything he wants as quickly as he wants it, get a little tired. And Jairzinho has gone multiple rounds. He's gone to decisions plenty of times. Knows how to conserve that energy. So the one thing that worries me is Jailton might blow his load shooting early or shooting fast, or maybe doesn't get it as easily as he has been getting it and then could get tired. But I do think he's going to get the takedowns. I do think this is going to look similar to his last couple of fights. But Jairzinho is, I think, the biggest heavyweight that he's fought so far. And after this fight, if he blows through Jairzinho, then I'm just going to stop talking about, well, Jailton was a light heavyweight, and we'll see what happens when he fights a real heavyweight, because I think it's fair to say Rozenstruik is a real heavyweight. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, Jailton, as you mentioned, is a 205er who fought, one heavyweight and realized, holy shit, this is easy because these guys have no idea how to wrestle. And that's basically what he's been doing. I mean, he's just having fun with these heavyweights, but he is a 205er. And once he starts running into these actual heavyweights at the top, he's going to run into issues because you can't just, blast double and pick people up over your head and slam them down once you get to that top level of the heavyweight division. The good news for him is there's really only about 4 or 5 of those heavyweights, and we'll see if Biggie Boy can be one of those heavyweights that kind of gives him some issues because, and I've mentioned this in my breakdowns, it's a pretty well-known thing. You'll see other people's as well. If you watch Jailton fight, he opens up with the exact same combination like his last 4 or 5 straight fights. He throws a front kick, and then he shoots a blast double right after the front kick. And you saw Shamil in that last fight waiting for it, right? The front kick came, and Shamil threw this big left hook that landed on Jailton, and he ate it. I mean, he just absolutely ate it. He had no issues eating that shot. He ended up getting the takedown. It took him a little bit longer, but he ended up getting the finish still in that fight. But if he does that same thing, he thinks he's going to throw a front kick into a shot. Biggie Boy, if he lands those same shots, maybe with the same the same hook or an uppercut or something, he can put Jailton out. I mean, if Biggie Boy is landing shots, he can put Jailton out. And there is a weird confidence for Biggie Boy going into this fight. He's always a fun guy. If you see him on Twitter, Instagram, and stuff, he's always interacting with people and everything. He's a fun dude, but there seems like a weird confidence for this fight. And I believe that he's going to come out and say, "Listen, I'm not going to wait for the takedowns." A lot of people are just, especially all these heavyweights, are, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, here comes the takedown, here comes the takedown," and Jailton gets on you, and he's going to dump you if you wait for the takedowns. I think he's going to come out just like that Dawkins fight, and yeah, maybe he comes in and blitzes forward and he gets taken down because of that, but maybe he's able to overwhelm this kid. Maybe he's able to get in the face, land some shots, and all of a sudden it's Jailton backpedaling. And if you can get on Jailton and get him backpedaling against the fence, yes, he has striking chops as well, but get him to panic a little bit. And I feel like Biggie Boy is going to come in and try to do what Francis did to him. Francis just reckless abandon, just wild shots, and caught Biggie Boy against the fence and landed the shot and knocked him out. I think Biggie Boy comes in and tries that exact same thing. Just boom, fight start, blitz forward, and let's just see if I can land that big shot and knock out a big prospect and put my name up there as a real deal heavyweight. Can he get that done? I don't think he's going to get it done. I think Jailton is going to come in, get the takedown, and do what he needs to do. Because I did rewatch that Biggie Boy fight against Curtis Blades, because Curtis Blades took him down, and Biggie Boy got up, right? So I'm thinking, okay, he got up against Curtis Blades. Can he get up? How did he get up? He got up by getting to his fence, giving up his back like most heavyweights do. They get to their knees, they give up their back, they break the hands, and they separate. If you give up your back to a guy as high level as Jailton in the jiu-jitsu, he's just going to keep you to the ground. He's going to throw hooks in. He's going to choke you out. So you can't give up your back. Curtis Blades doesn't have that high level of jiu-jitsu, so he was able to get back to his feet. I don't think he can get back to his feet if he gets taken down versus Jailton, so I got to go Jailton here, but there is a pause for concern. You're looking at confidence levels, and so let's talk about confidence levels for premium levels, or for premium members. I do not have Jailton as a high confidence play in this fight. I'll be rooting for Biggie Boy, honestly, but we'll see how it plays out. Jailton's my pick.
Yeah, I am confident in Jailton. Obviously, there are questions, and it's, anytime you see a line like this, It's like, oh boy, you better. I'm probably more confident in Karl Williams than Jailton Almeida, and that has nothing to do with the. Yeah, I was gonna say that has everything to do with the opponent.
Right.
I'm not more. Karl Williams is not a better fighter than Jailton Almeida, but Karl Williams' opponent is not Jairzinho. Yes, red. You have the red hair, freckles, the whole thing. Your beard's not red? That's a hill you're gonna die on?
My beard is. Nothing else is.
Oh, okay. Yes. Red.
I got Jailton first round KO at plus 1,200, which seems fucking insane for a sprinkle type play because I think he's live. It's plus 900 now, but that still is like I can't believe. Or not Jailton. Sorry, I'm sorry, Biggie Boy. I said Jailton, but Biggie Boy. Because I think he comes through and just says, "Fuck it, let's try and knock this dude out quick." And if he does it, we're getting paid, baby.
Well, not me. I'm a little more confident on Jailton Almeida, but I hear. I mean, those are that is surprising because that's how Jairzinho can win. Like, why would those odds be so astronomical when that's what's he gonna do? Win a decision? That's not gonna happen. So,
or you can take, and this is the other one, Biggie Boy round 5 submission plus 8,000. You like that one?
It sounds good now. Yeah.
Oh shit.
How is it only plus 8,000? Honestly.
That's the highest I think I've ever seen. I mean, you can get draw at plus 6,600.
Draw's more likely. Little kick to the dick. Anyway, I do have the DraftKings prices flipped. Jailton Almeida, $9,600, most expensive fighter in this card. Jairzinho Rozenstruik, $66. Does not go decision is a guarantee on this. It's got to be a guarantee in this fight. It has to be. How could this fight go to a decision?
Could you imagine?
It's 5 rounds. How could this go to a decision?
If Jailton comes in and throws that front kick and shoots a takedown and just gets knocked out, it's like, what? You did it 6 fights in a row. You don't think people are going to catch on? Like, could you imagine if he actually did that and got knocked out because of it? Like, that's a stupid. I tweeted that. It was funny because I tweeted that, like, Jailton does this, and if Biggie Boy sees it and lands, he's going to knock him out. Biggie Boy liked the tweet and then followed me on Twitter. So, Biggie Boy, hey, how you doing? I'm rooting for him.
We'll see what happens.
So he knows it's coming.
Well, this fight's definitely not going to go to the decision. I don't know what those are. What are the odds of this fight not going to a decision?
Plus 600.
What?
You said if it go into a decision.
No, does not.
Oh, minus 1,000.
Okay. All right. Well, sounds about right. That's a solid line. That makes a lot of sense. If you want to see the action we got, are you going to do Jailton Almeida in your DraftKings at 9,600? If he wins, it's by stoppage. So.
Yeah, honestly, I think I respect. Biggie Boy's got this weird confidence, like he knows what the fuck's about to happen. He scares me with his confidence. I'll be honest with you, and I respect it too. I'm a confident guy myself, so I'll be rooting for him, man. And I can't. This is one of those. I'm going to be traveling, so I can't even watch this card, unfortunately. So.
Yeah, that definitely does suck, but
not as much as you suck, Chase Sherman.
WeWantPicks.com. Unlock everything premium membership has to offer, and you'll be a very, very happy camper. Almost as happy as Jack Spade. Jack Spade won $78,000 using our tools, our insight. Obviously, he built his own lineup, but he was very clear in the shout out and in the DMs that we had a lot to do with this win, and he is a premium member. So not only is he incredibly sharp for building this lineup, he gave us quite a bit of credit as well. $78,000. The dude is a $10 premium member. Use the insight, use the tools, use the info, and won $78,000. And you may say, oh, that's an anomaly. Joey Todoro, who is also a premium member in this community, won $60,000+ just, 6 months ago. I can't imagine there's any other community out there with members doing that well in more than in 12 months. 2 people in one single calendar year.
And
that's
we
really
talk about me winning the friend league 3 weeks in a row.
You just lost to me this past weekend.
I got third. That's podium. That's podium.
I got third. So anyway, $25 entry won Jack Spade $78,000. He shouted us out. We appreciate you very much, Jack. Congratulations on all that. And if you want to be like Jack, just go to WeWantPicks.com and become a premium member. You're not only going to get all of the insight, all the tools, all the information, you're going to get a whole lot of other stuff as well. If you want $50, I will send you $50. All you need to do is go to WeWantPicks.com/bets. Sign up with any one of our betting partners. Make a deposit. We send you $50. It's affiliate marketing, right? You're going to use our link to create your account. You're going to make a deposit. They're going to pay me. I'm going to break off that money, and I'm going to give some of it to you as a thank you because we're all about the community. WeWantPicks.com/bets. Premium membership, we talk a lot about them. A lot of you are here just for the bets. You want to copy the bets, paste the bets, and then make some money. And while that does work, especially on some of the bets, the pay-per-views, we absolutely crush. The premium member safety parlay hits at a higher than 70% clip. There are still tools and information behind premium to help you find your own spots, like the line movement tracker, like the detailed data, metrics, and analytics, which will be up later today. All of that available to you at WeWantPicks.com for only $10 a month. And it's not just us. We have other analysts as well.
Look at Adam.
Including Artem. And what's really nice about Artem is he breaks down far more. He's Noodlesish. He breaks down far more than just UFC. You're going to get Cage Warriors. You're going to get PFL out of him, Bellator, all of these other events. He's giving you picks, bets, and that as well. WeWantPicks.com. Click to become a member. It's freaking $10 a month. Jakey boy, what do you have for the people?
Hey, lock of the week video tomorrow. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be exciting. We're looking for, what is it, Angelo? 5 in a row. On our way to 10, 15, 20, maybe even 50. We'll figure it out. But we got something special for you tomorrow. Look out for it, baby.
I'm really hoping it's Pete Rodriguez. Really hoping. Well, you're so very confident in him. So I have to imagine.
Bet on Natan Levy.
It's in there. Premium members, you'll see that now at WeWantPicks.com.